Alright, and we are live. Hello, hello, I'm known as Saksida Genome, and together I'm here with a bag of bones. Introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Hauntlich. I'm the final boss of a Lost Media video game, and now I spend my time doing nothing. Just nothing. You can call it retirement, I say unemployed.
And I say meditation, which is also pretty important. Let me switch over to... There you go. Also, welcome, Billy. Welcome, welcome. How you doing? Hauntless, what are we talking about today?
Apparently, we're talking about game dev stuff.
What do you know about game dev?
I know many things about game dev. Not enough to really make my own video game, per se, but enough to know what goes into the process. Like, I could very convincingly fake a career, fake like a history in game dev if you didn't know what if you didn't know how to identify key like factors. I could probably trick you into thinking I had a career in game dev.
Fake it till you make it. I love it.
Yep. That's what I do with anthropology. That's what I do with pretty much everything.
I'm kind of the same way in that regard because I also have some knowledge on how to make a video game, but I've released zero video games on my own. But I have a little bit of background in, well, developing a game in a team and release a couple of them, but I can't really name them, sadly, because security reasons. But
I understand.
I know what I know. Like I know how to work in Game Maker. I know how to work in Unity a little bit, but I'm mostly working in Unreal Engine at the moment. Wait, hang on. Let me face the other. Wait, there we go. So, you have a $1 million game idea. You can tell me what it.
Everybody's got $1 million game idea. Let's be real. Everybody that's ever sat down with a Super Nintendo has thought, "Oh man, I've got a great idea for a video game, and it would make $1 million bajillion."
Yes, but I'm here, and I'm here to tell those kinds of people. They tell me exactly what they want, and I can't really explain why it cannot be. However, it doesn't mean that it's completely impossible because there are ways how to make this $1 million game idea work if you, well, if you play smart at least. So,
So let me tell you my philosophy. If I were to actually sit down and truly get into game dev, my philosophy would be that of a sixth generational game designer, making video games for something like the Nintendo GameCube or the Xbox 360, which are apparently now officially retro consoles. Congratulations, the cruel march of time continues on, and we will all be dust.
I'm so old. I
Yep,
mean,
yep, yep.
I'm so historical.
Ah, yes, vintage, not old.
Vintage.
Vintage.
A priceless living artifact.
Oh, yes, that's a much better way of putting it.
I mean, there's
I'm
always.
not old. I'm an artifact.
I'm a living fossil.
But so one of the issues that I run into when I talk to people about game design, because people who have read my stories, people who have played games with me, which by the way, none of my works have ever been published. I'm working on it. Don't bother me.
Oh,
Um, don't bother me. But they're like, we should make a game together. You can write, you can do some design work, and I'm like, cool, cool, cool. That all sounds great. Nobody's ever gonna deliver on that, but I like to humor people. Um, they fall asleep. They fall asleep when I tell them what my designs are, what my ideas are, because they like my games would work on like a Nintendo GameCube. So when you're like, oh, I'll tell you why your game idea is impossible. It's probably not gonna be the issue because I'm like, I really like the more traditional game design philosophies of it doesn't have to be loaded with systems. It doesn't have to be this huge complicated mess. It doesn't even have to be really new. It just
hmm,
has to be good. It
yes.
has to be stylish.
Oh, thank you,
And
Billy.
dare I say, it needs to be fun.
Yes, that is what it's all about. Fun, engaging, interesting, and something that people will remember fondly by. Um, that's kind of lost nowadays. So I don't want to sound like an old man, but a lot of games should kind of focus on graphics rather than just the game itself, like the fun.
Right? Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yes. High five. But that's kind of what happened with Callisto Protocol, if I'm being honest. Like, if you look at, I hate making this comparison because I want Callisto Protocol to be able to stand on its own legs. However, between Callisto Protocol and Dead Space, like Dead Space doesn't look that great, especially like if you compare it to the games nowadays, but it still holds up pretty okay, like the original Dead Space. You look at a couple of these screenshots and the environment is kind of low poly and the textures are all right, but it works because it communicates what it's supposed to look like. Like, it looks like a spaceship with an interior and everything. But if you only focus on the graphics side of things, you just get a interactive movie essentially.
Well, the issue I have, because I brought up some Callisto Protocol stuff.
Hmm.
The issue I have with Callisto Protocol versus Dead Space, looking at the screenshots of both games, because I've played Dead Space 1, I've not played Callisto Protocol.
I played both of them.
Looking at the original Dead Space versus screenshots from Callisto, Dead Space it has that, it looks like a game from 2008, and I don't think that's a bad thing.
No, no.
I think back in the day, you had to do things to make your graphics work. Like, they wanted to go for a more realistic style, but obviously they didn't have the high fidelity graphics that we have today. So, you take shortcuts, you compress textures, various techno babble words that I'm only pretending to know the meaning of. You do the magic, you do the video game magic to make the video game work. And as a
Yes.
result, it looks really nice.
Yes, and
It looks very purposeful.
also has to do with art direction. Like, you don't
Right.
focus on the realistic textures of the ship's hull, but you just make sure it communicates what you're trying to communicate. Like, it doesn't need to be super fancy. Like, just it's a ship. Like, make it look nice, even with the limitation that you have at the moment.
Right. And make sure, like, the ship looks like a ship.
Yes, and they also purposely went for a more like a gothic art direction. Like, if you look at the ship, you see ribs all over the place. Like, there's rib patterns on the walls, rib patterns on the ship itself, and it all comes from the suit that Isaac is wearing himself. And they use that base to put it literally everywhere on the ship, and it makes it recognizable. Oh, there's a lot of ribbings everywhere, and yeah, that's Dead Space.
Right. It looks like the ship from Dead Space. Even not knowing the, I can't remember
Right.
the Ishimura. It
Right.
if you didn't know that, you could still be like, "Oh, this is Dead Space."
Yes. Like,
Callisto Protocol, on the other hand, looks like every fucking video game that it's been made in the last 10 years.
yes.
Like, is this could be DLC for Payday? I would not be able to tell you.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
not Payday. That's a little bit uncharitable, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, they kind of lost their. I want to put Killing Floor 2 into the mix when we're talking about art direction. The original Killing Floor is about like this very grimy zombie survival thing, but then the sequel is kind of like leaning more towards futuristic stuff, and then it kind of, I don't know, it kind of loses its charm because it wasn't what it used to be. I mean, changes are fine, but something gets lost in translations. I feel, or maybe it's just me.
No, I agree. Like the original Killing Floor looks. I love the way this game looks.
Yes.
Like there's something so charming about this kind of old, because yeah, it's lower poly, it's lower fidelity, but I don't think that's inherently a bad thing. I know there are some people that think that, like, I know there are some people that will tell me that Killing Floor looks bad, that it
Yeah.
just looks bad. It doesn't look as good as new games do, and I think you need to get your fucking eyes checked. I hate when people tell me that the game's like. I've straight up had somebody tell me that Fantasy Star Online 2 looks bad because it doesn't look realistic, and I'm like, you need to just
What?
go outside, go look at trees, because that clearly is what you want to do. You can go
Oh.
look at a tree and be like, it's so HD.
Yeah. Well, I haven't seen the game, so I couldn't tell you.
Trust me,
I'll take your word
it
for it.
is the peak of aesthetic. It is. If I were to make a game, I would make everybody play Phantasy Star Online 2. Not Online 2, jeez. Phantasy Star Online Episode 1 and 2. Excuse me.
Episode.
Big difference.
All
Big
right.
difference. And I would sit down and make them play that. And I would say, you need to soak in the atmosphere, the visuals, everything. Every little piece of this game creates atmosphere that just doesn't exist in modern games, I think. And that's what I'm seeing between Killing Floor and Killing Floor 2. Killing Floor 1 has atmosphere. You feel, you can smell this game.
What does it smell like?
It smells like metal, and it smells like wet metal
Oh, I
and
know.
old meat.
I kind of know how that smells and tastes like even.
Mm-hmm.
I would agree. Yes, it does have
Killing-
this.
Killing Floor 2, I think, looks fine. But you're right. It's lost that atmosphere.
Yeah, it's. Well, even if it lost its atmosphere, it kind of, at the very least, it kind of has its own identity in that regard. But it's kind of a shame that it lost the old one.
Right. Well, I mean, Quake 1 and 2 are like that, where they're similar but not the same. They definitely changed the game's identity between the two games. And then like Doom also did that between Doom 2 and Doom 3. Oh god.
Oh yeah, that's a world of difference. Like I think Doom 3 did the first with like dynamic lighting or something, but it has
Doom
this.
3, yeah, the dynamic lighting in Doom 3 was apparently revolutionary at the time.
Looks great, but also very dark.
Right. As a result, the game is very dark.
Like then again, it's new. They're on a new frontier. Like they discovered something neat and they wanted to use it, but of course it's gonna look, well, not as great. And then,
Right. They were breaking new ground.
yes, so of course it's kind of. I don't want to say bad because I haven't really played it, but from the looks of it, it's just yes. Because I've seen
yeah.
Yeah, I've seen like a Let's Play like way back then, because I didn't have a very powerful computer at the time, so I just
Fun
go.
Fun fact about that. Nobody did. Nobody, when Doom 3 came out, nobody had a PC that could run it at optimal frame rate.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was too strong for your average consumer's computer at the time.
And I think people or the developers had the same problem today. Like at one point, we need like 100 gigs of memory available to install these games. You don't need that much. And I've been told, I'm not sure if it's true, but I've been told that the reason why they're so huge is uncompressed audio files.
That's a big one. I have also heard that the uncompressed audio files make up a ton of space. But also, like, the textures are just goddamn enormous.
Here, you don't need that much graphics to have a game. Like, just have a simple, playable, shitty-looking, high frame rate game, and then you're pretty much set good for life. But
I agree. I agree because the game I want to talk about in terms of why, does it need to be 100 gigabytes is fucking Mortal Kombat 1. It's a fighting game.
Oh.
Why is it 100 gigabytes? Why? At base? So that's before all the DLC characters and all the DLC maps and, I don't know, extra story chapters and whatnot. By the time the game is done, like, and they're getting ready to do the next one, that game's gonna be like 250 gigs.
Oh, God. Better
uninstall
the previous 200 gig game and then install the new one that's also like 300 gigs now.
Oh, I mean, when I buy my new computer, I'm gonna have a dedicated hard drive just for these big, stupid games.
Oh, yeah, I'm getting rated by Kazu Shotaro with a party of 3. Welcome. Oh, I'm sorry, Haunt. It's a tradition to nuke everyone from orbit when someone rates into me.
Don't worry about it. I'll live.
Alright, nuke everyone from orbit. Have you ever seen this before?
Let's find out.
Oh dear, here we go. Alright, and we're back online. Sorry about that. Thank you for the raid, Shotago. You were playing Monster Hunter World. How's it go?
I didn't even feel it.
Yeah, you're pretty much... Well, you can't kill anything that's already dead.
Exactly.
Wait, hang on, let me turn off the... Okay, there we go. Sorry for interrupting you. What were you talking about?
Alright, so... Mortal Kombat 1 is stupid because okay, so they're spending 100 gigabytes on all these super high-res textures and just making the game as high fidelity as possible. Oh, it's got to look... You got to see every little piece of Liu Kang's hair. You got to see fucking like the wrinkles on his lips.
Ugh.
And I'm like, this is completely unnecessary. It is entirely unnecessary. And it's because... Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Mortal Kombat, in my opinion, looked the best in the old 3D era of like Mortal Kombat Deception, Mortal Kombat Armageddon. I think that's when Mortal Kombat had the most style. And I think that style is way more important than actual like graphical fidelity, because I look at Mortal Kombat 1, I look at the stress tests, and as much as excited as I am to play it, as an old school Mortal Kombat fan that did not like Mortal Kombat 10 and 11, it doesn't feel like Mortal Kombat. It doesn't have that ambience. It doesn't have that style.
Yeah. Style over substance. Actually, we need more of both, actually.
Yeah, we need more of both. Absolutely.
I don't know.
Like,
maybe they need to like please some of the publishers or something, or I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Strangely enough, like.
I know what's going on. I can actually explain that.
Oh, sure.
So the production budget of movies, games, all of these things have been going up by a lot in the past 10, 15 years. And I'm sure you've seen people talk about it, how, you know, the same developers 15 years ago could make a game in half the time and for a quarter of the budget.
Yeah, I think I vaguely remember that
Yeah.
quote. Oh, thank you for the redeem, the bunny.
Hey, there's Bunny.
Hello. And Gardner Roosevelt has entered the scene. By the way, chat. Sorry for not responding to you guys, but it's I am reading through the chat, and yes, I agree with the. Oh, no, never mind. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, so, oh god, where was I? Oh no.
Huh.
I was looking at Melina's tits on the box art of Mortal Kombat Deception and I got distracted.
It's okay. We
Mortal Kombat 1, poopy. No style, no grace. This Kong has a funny face. Where the fuck was I?
You were explaining something about
the budget. Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you, Flanzin. Thank you. Okay, so the budget of these projects has been going up from like, let's say, your project costs $20 million. That's pretty cheap for a AAA project. In fact, I'd almost consider that to be AA these days. The studio is not gonna really give a shit about what you're doing with a $20 million budget. Because, like, it's $20 million. We'll make that back. Now, let's say that your project is now $100 million. That's a lot of money to float. It's as a studio head, I'm getting a little bit nervous, but I still trust my people to make that money back. Now, let's say that your production budget is $300 million. Well, now I'm worried. Now I don't trust you anymore with that amount of money. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hire outside consultants to tell me the safest way to make sure that I can get that money back. They're going to look at market trends, they're going to look at
Oh,
what's made money previously, they're going to look at what's safe.
oh
And so
yeah.
I'm going to come down to your studio and I'm going to say, "Hey, Mr. Genome, I see you've got this $300 million budget and I see that you've got a character here. She's got some pretty big tits.
Yeah.
Our market studies show that this group of people specifically might get upset at the booby lady, and that this group of people who would enjoy the booby lady, they're not going to make a big deal. Oh, that I don't do that.
Not.
But
Didn't do anything. What are you talking about?
so do us a favor, 86 the big boobies, and you're like, well, you're the boss, I guess. See, I don't know what the thing I don't know is how much the actual development team has the ability to tell the studio or the suit man, no, I'm not going to do that. But okay, so you've made one creative change because the production company is nervous about how much money you're spending.
Hmm.
This is not a one-off thing. I'm going to come down to your studio probably once a week and say, "Hey, so this thing you're doing, our market studies show that this thing is not it works, but it's not super popular. So if you could just tone it down a little bit here and there and with this, that, and the other thing." Apparently, this is literally happening with Mortal Kombat in real time.
Oh, no.
From 9 to 10, Mortal Kombat toned down the sexuality of the characters. Apparently, there are like genuine schizos who will tell you that that's not true.
Ugh.
It's literally true. I can see it with my fucking eyeballs. Ask me to tell me to believe that the sun's not fucking shining. But and from 11 to 1, they're gonna tone down the gore.
Why? It's Mortal Kombat.
Exactly, because Mortal Kombat 1 is going to have the fucking highest budget of any Mortal Kombat game.
Oh, and they wanted to make sure that it's, yeah, like you said,
They,
they
yeah,
to
they're
make the
gonna
money
gonna
back.
interfere. They want to make sure that they get all the money back. And Mortal Kombat being overly gory, while like Mortal Kombat fans are into it, you know, the studio wants them to be able to do shit like put the game on ESPN.
Oh yeah.
And you just can't do that. You can't do that if people's intestines are flying out.
Then again, if they want to make like something family friendly or ESPN friendly, whatever, then they might as well just make their own IP instead of just, well, for the lack of better terms, desecrating the original one. It's, I don't know.
No, I agree. I agree. NetherRealms could make another fighting game IP, but who's gonna buy Super Dragon Fighter?
Yeah,
Nobody knows what that is. Mortal Kombat though, oh, that name's got power.
yeah. I guess.
Investors will throw money at Mortal Kombat. They know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that this is what happens. I know that this is what happens because I've spoken to people who work in the movie industry, and this is what's been happening in the film industry. Is the more money you spend on your project, the more the I'm trying to think of like what body it is. The production company. The more the production company wants to interfere because they're scared of how much money you're going to spend.
Yeah.
But if you keep your budget below like 50 million, nobody cares. Because it sounds weird to say stuff like that because we are starving artists. To us, $500 is like a life-changing amount of money.
Yeah.
But and that's why when some smaller content creators get offered sponsor deals where they're like they get $5,000 for like a 2.5-hour sponsor plug, they're like, that's clearly a scam because that's ridiculous. When in reality, $5,000 ain't shit to these companies. What $5,000 is such a small amount of money to these companies? It might as well not even be like a real amount.
It's a pocket change. Like-
Yeah, exactly. So these movie companies, when they're like $20 million, oh, that's nothing. You can just do whatever you want with $20 million. What do I care?
Yeah, money makes the world go around, and money and artists go hand in hand in some regard. Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's as for as for more, yeah.
But that's the issue. That's the issue. If you ask for more, the more you ask for, sure, the more resources you'll have, but also the less creative freedom you're going to have. So
Hmm.
you have to figure out what's more important to you. And right now, what it seems like, and I say this despite me, I'm working a summer job just so I can buy a new computer so I can play Mortal Kombat 1. So, hypocrite that I am, um, Mortal Kombat 1 does feel a little bit soulless because of the budget. Because there's no way that that team was able to make every decision they wanted to make with that budget. There's no way they were allowed to just do whatever they wanted to.
Possible.
No, it's impossible. And you like there are certain studios that that are allowed to do just fucking whatever they want. From Software is one of those studios, but From Software games have relatively low budgets compared to other AAA games.
Huh.
So Bandai is like, we trust you. We trust you not to blow $100 million because who cares? But if From Software was like, our next game's gonna have like a $500 million budget, I would be really concerned because big budget doesn't mean actually big budget seems like a detrimental thing to me. If somebody said, "Oh, there's a new uh, big budget Hexen game coming out," I'd be
Yeah.
like, how big?
It's kind of like a gauge, like a barometer of if it's too expensive, it's probably not going to be a good one.
Right, too expensive, it's gonna be soulless. You get too expensive, you get Assassin's Creed,
Oh yeah.
where they're like, these games are expensive to produce, and we really need to not take any risks when we make them. So just make them, appeal to the lowest common denominator. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, you gotta find that sweet spot. I think that sweet spot is like 50 mil.
50
It
mil.
look
Well, it depends on the.
from the perspective of a poor man who works in content creation. If you can't make what you want to make with $50 million, I don't know what to tell you, man.
You have no soul.
Yeah, do something else. Try something else, because clearly, like what you're doing, like what aspect of your production is costing you more than $50 million?
Mine specifically?
No, just in general. Like when I'm trying to think of like the budget for a project. Like if you wanted to make a video game,
Uh-huh.
if you wanted to bring everybody together to make a video game, would you really need $50 million?
I guess I probably need like 100 of that amount, and then the rest I'm just gonna donate to charity at that point. It's just.
Yeah, you would need even like to pay people like Busujima brings up salaries. Salaries actually are the bulk of your game's development budget, and then you have to worry about marketing. But with like independent indie games, it's not as bad. You can get a whole fucking lot of bang for your buck with marketing by putting up a goddamn 4chan ad. Um, excuse me.
Bless you.
But I've seen games with budgets that like we're talking like $10,000,
Oh, that's actually
which
not that much.
no, it's to me. If you were like, hey, put up $10,000 so we can make a game, I'd be like, you're a clown, you're a jokey clown. But if you brought together a team and you're like, our budget for the game is $10,000, we could put together something and then do a crowdfunding campaign for 10 grand. 10 grand would actually be so low that it might suss out investors.
Oh yeah.
They might be, that's a little too low. That sounds like you don't know what you're talking about. So back when I was working with some people to crowdfund a game, which unfortunately never got past the prototyping phase,
Oh.
which was very sad. Anyways, I was doing all the money stuff. I was doing all the budgeting stuff, and I told them that we could crowdfund the game. We needed 100 grand. We needed $100,000 for everything.
Jeez.
And they were like, that's way too much. We'll never get that. And I'm like, okay, we'll do 50 then. We'll do 50 and hope that our campaign is good enough to double it. Because that frequently happens. Either your Kickstarter campaign doesn't make enough money to actually get off the ground, or it goes fucking gangbusters and you get triple of what you were asking for. That always seems to be the case.
There's no in between. It's just one of the two.
Yeah, it's always one of the two. I very rarely see Kickstarter campaigns that make exactly how much money they need.
That's nuts.
And I fought with them so much about this. Because look, I went to college
Uh-huh.
to learn business, to learn marketing. I
That's
was like, this is the thing I know. This is the reason I'm part of this project. This is the reason why I'm more than the ideas guy. Because I know how to do the money stuff. I know how to do the business stuff. You've really got to take my word for it.
no,
That
no.
this is
It's
how
a
much it's gonna cost.
good skill.
And they were like, no, because they didn't understand. They didn't understand that in this context, $100,000 was not a lot of money.
It's relatively cheap.
Yeah, I'm like, for the game you guys want to make, because they wanted to make like a battle royale. This was like pre Unreal. It's like pre Unreal Engine 4.
Really?
So it would have actually been difficult to make like a battle royale style game.
Oh yeah. Oh boy. Oh, thank you.
And I'm
Billy.
like, you guys have no idea. At $100,000, if we're not careful, we could exceed that budget.
Oh, and if you exceed that budget, then what happens?
Then like, what happens is people want to get paid. The project gets canceled because nobody gets paid, and fundamentally that money is a waste. Because here's the thing: a lot of people also don't realize. People are like, oh, you got to buy the game so the developers get paid. The developers did get paid. Otherwise, they wouldn't have made the game. Nobody works for free.
No.
The only people who work for free are people who are like us, who are small content creators that actually have to produce a product in order to get paid.
Yes.
But if you work at like Ubisoft, they paid you to come in and work on the project.
So the money that they earn goes to the company.
Yeah, the money they earn goes to the company, hopefully to fund the next game and to keep the company going. Whereas for independent developers, the money goes towards like actually producing the game in real time. So if you run out of money, the game is done. You can't pay your people anymore, and that's it. Everyone goes home.
See, like I never thought about like the business side of things. Strangely enough, but I only know how to make the game, but not what goes what goes in it, like financially speaking.
There's a lot of finances. Like okay, so one of the musicians we were looking at back in the day was Waterflame. Do you know Waterflame?
Not by name, maybe by the...
Okay, so Waterflame did the music for Castle Crashers.
Oh, sick. All right.
We were looking at getting Waterflame. Waterflame charges $300 a minute for music.
A minute? Like in a song?
A minute.
Jeez.
That's if you I believe it was actually more if you wanted like perpetual rights to the song. Like you could commission Waterflame to make just like a fun song for you just for fun. But if you wanted to like make a commercial game, I believe it was like in the realm of like $400. You know what? I wonder if Waterflame still takes commissions. I'm curious.
Are you gonna commission Waterflame for your game? Again?
I would love to get Waterflame for a game. Are you kidding me?
Oh yeah.
Here we go. Her website. Here we go. Hire me. Need custom music or sound effects. 15 years. Yeah, Waterflame's really. She doesn't have her.
There you go. All right, go
She
ahead.
does not have her prices on the website anymore.
Oh, I see.
You have to actually contact her team. Her team.
Wait, what?
Yeah. But Waterflame's like a big, like video game music producer now.
Well, it makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, Waterflame's catalog goes back to 2004.
Oh man, I remember the year before that I saw the Incredible Hulk for the first time in theaters. That's all I know about that time period. That's literally all I know about that time period. Like nothing.
I love
else.
that. I love that. That's like your benchmark. It's like, oh, that's when Incredible Hulk came out.
Well, actually, in 2003, but yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Oh, excuse me.
It's not even in the same year. That's.
But wait, I was like, look, this is just music. Just music. We're looking at spending like $4 or $5 grand on just music.
Yeah.
And That's like the in-game music. That's not sound effects. That's not like menu music. That's not music for marketing. That's not that's like just like the music that plays in the stages.
Which is also really important for a video game.
Oh
But
yeah, of course. That like the rest of the OST, like I was looking at, God, we were looking at maybe 10 grand for
Bless
music.
you. Money well spent.
Sorry, I need to take a drink. But
Actually, let me take a drink as well. Here's Haunt.
I got my raspberry lemonade.
Wait, what? You got lemonade? I only got water.
Yeah.
There. Well, I had coffee before, and so I guess that kind of counts. My buddy Buppo is really well versed in with audio design, and he told me that there goes a lot into audio, not just music, but also the sound effects, the equipment that you use for, you know, the mics and everything. He also helped me out with picking up what mic to use for streaming purposes, and it went from a shitty USB mic that is kind of functional to a like multi-$100 mic that has its own boom arm and everything. I was like, oh shit, man, this is like working a studio. Jeez, Boppo.
Yeah, it's like it suddenly feels real.
Yes, it suddenly feels real, and thanks to him, I have a newfound respect for audio engineers and people related to audio in some capacity. Like there is a lot that goes into just audio.
Yeah.
So imagine a whole team of people coming together to work on a game. That's yeah.
And all those people expect to be paid.
Don't work for free.
Nowadays, for indie, like I've met people who would work for royalties, who would be willing to take a minimal paycheck, not for free, but a minimal paycheck in exchange for like royalties from sales. Because generally speaking, when you make a game and the game is released, the guy who makes the money off the game is like the head of the studio, the director, people like that. But nowadays, because of the nature of the internet and independent creators, I've met a lot of people who said that they'd be willing to work for like a minimum base pay plus royalties. And you know that always makes me nervous because people work harder when they're working for money.
Yeah, because they want to prove that it's money well spent.
Well, that, and you want the work to actually get done. I mean, if I were to make a game with some people online, I mean, everybody would be working independently from their homes. I wouldn't be able to like loom over people's shoulders and be like, "Hey, are you actually working?" But if I've given them a big chunk of change, I can PM them on Twitter and be like, "Hey, yo, where's my shit?"
Where's the money? Actually, you gave the money.
No, yeah, I gave you the money. Where's the product? Which is why when people, because I've had people be like, "Hey, I want to do this thing for like the Hauntlet show." I'm like, "Okay, well, you need to let me pay you." And they're like, "No, that's not necessary." And I'm like, "Oh, it is actually, because I don't want to be waiting around for the next 6 months."
I'm actually.
I want you to feel anxious that you have to finish it.
That's all right. That's actually a pretty good incentive, but I'm also kind of guilty myself of saying, "Yeah, no, I'm good. You don't need to pay me for this really cool thing that I made for you." But
I think that there are certain times when that is acceptable. Like I know Bunny, a lobotomy Bunny will draw stuff for people. She's like, she just does that because it's fun. So I'm not saying that you can never like work with people for the sake of working with them, for the sake of like future gains rather than immediate gains. I'm just saying that's not common, and to not expect that.
yeah,
I think there are a lot of people who do expect that. I think a lot of people are like, this is a thing I see a lot with the ideas guys. Unfortunately, they're like, I've got this really good game idea. I promise that if you help me make this, it'll make a lot of money, and then you'll make a lot of money. And they're like, yeah, no, we're not going to do that.
that's not how it works. Like
that's not how it works.
You don't know for sure it's gonna make a lot of money, because if it doesn't make a lot of money, you're being left with nothing.
Yeah, the people who actually put in the hard work are left holding the bag.
That's also why Paying people an exposure is.
Oh God.
I'm sorry for bringing it up. It also makes me queasy just saying it out loud.
Well, it's stupid because I don't want to. Look, if you work on a project with people and it's a passion project and everybody on the project anticipates that it's going to be successful and then it's not, that's one thing.
hmm
Bringing in randos and being like, don't worry, this will be good for your career overall. I'm like, terrible. You're stupid.
Uh,
And it makes me sad that there are still artists who fall for that.
yeah, artists are a unique breed of people that kind of naive. They want to do like some fun art stuff, but they don't know how the business side of things work. So they're more prone to stuff like this, sadly enough.
Right.
I
Well, because everybody's desperate to work on that big project. Everybody wants to be
yeah,
part of that big project that might make them the big bucks, or just so they can say, "Hey, I did this thing."
which is actually really cool.
No, yeah, it is really cool. That is a very cool aspect of it. It's underappreciated, I think, nowadays.
Yeah,
But
indeed.
I do think the culture of, oh, I'll pay you an exposure for this has really hurt a lot of collaborative efforts that would have happened otherwise. I don't know. I
Oh,
remember back in college. Everybody was just working on projects just because that was you wanted to have a project going.
yeah. It's amazing to work with a team and then creating something really cool together.
Right. And when you're somebody like me, where here's the thing. I struggle in the game design realm. I struggle in the game dev realm because like what I do is I write, um,
Which is good.
which is good, but that's not like tangible.
Hmm.
Somebody who makes like 3D models or somebody who works like the actual coding stuff, that's tangible. You can see when they're working. You can see the fruits of their labor immediately. Um, Being a writer or like a money guy or the dreaded ideas guy, unfortunately, that doesn't actually have like a tangible. You can't see when that work is coming to fruition.
Yeah.
So it's easy to feel like that work has little to no value. Even if you're the one doing it.
Even if it actually adds anything to the game. Well, maybe not physically, but in
Well, like,
writing, I guess.
especially writing, like all those World of Warcraft quests. Somebody wrote those.
Yeah.
All the game's mechanics. Somebody had to sit down and think those through.
Or have a meeting with a bunch of artists, developers, designers,
Oh yeah,
etc.,
it could
etc.
also be collaborative.
Yeah.
What I'm realizing is having an executive director is super important because if you don't, this is how one of my college projects fell through was everybody wanted their ideas to shine.
Oh,
Not everybody's ideas were good.
I know exactly what you mean. I've been there in that position. Like everyone wants something of themselves to be, to shine through in some way. Like, yeah, I've worked on that, and then it doesn't get accepted, or it's hard to implement or whatever, and then it didn't get added. So yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Oh yeah, Busajima's right. And then they get rid of the guy. They get rid of the executive director guy who's who had all the good ideas. And then they're like, I don't understand. Why doesn't anybody like the game? And then they don't make money. Okay, I've got a story.
Okay, go ahead.
I knew a guy who I worked with who was hard into cryptocurrency.
All right. No, go.
He wanted to use crypto to fund a new game project, and my ears immediately perked up for two reasons. I'm like, crypto guys, successful ones, have just an absolute unholy amount of money they don't know what to do with.
Uh-huh.
I have game ideas I need financing for in order to make real. So I'm like, maybe I can convince these crypto guys. That's an avenue I hadn't considered before. So we were talking about his game ideas. We were talking about what we wanted. He wanted to create a crypto-based card game like Magic the Gathering, where the
Okay.
cards were like NFTs. And I'm
Okay.
like, okay, um, hold on. Some Noodles is asking you something. He's saying, guess what?
All right. What? Am I gonna get shot? I'm gonna.
It better not fucking be chicken butt.
What is chicken butt? Like that's a weird American concept that I'm not familiar with.
What,
but
the guess what chicken butt?
finger gun? Oh, god damn it! You shot me. Well, it's not chicken butt, so that's that.
I couldn't even tell you where guess what chicken butt came from. I think it's just like,
It's a silly thing.
it's like a concept in nature. It just exists. But anyways,
Yeah.
so he was like, "Yeah, we've got everybody together. We're actually gonna start making this game." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Do you guys have a guy who's made games before?" And they're like, "No." And I was like, "Okay, that's fine. Nobody's really. I mean, even you said that even though you've made games,
Huh?
it'd probably be unreasonable to assume that everybody on your team has published something,
Yeah.
especially if it's like an indie project." So I'm like, "Okay, that's fine." But like, what games has what have your guys done? What have your designers done? And they're like, I don't know. He's like, I don't know what you mean. And I'm like, have they made a game before? I'm like, no, I just told you they didn't. I'm like, no, you don't understand. You don't understand the question. Have they made a game before? Like, have they made a card game before? Have they made a board game before? Have they made a game? And he was like, no, nobody's done that. And I'm like, do you have anybody that's ran like D&D campaigns? Do you have any story writers? Anything? And they're like, no.
That's
And I'm like, well, and best of luck to you. Because I don't know if people realize this, but video games are games.
yes, it requires
And-
some. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's just, fucking, yeah, what? I know. Video games are games. Like, imagine if you had a bunch of guys sitting around to make Monopoly, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, we've got the guys that make they can manufacture the cardboard. We've got the guys that can manufacture the pieces. We've got the printer to do the cards. And they're like, so what do we do in this game? You're like, I don't know. And that was it. That was the end of the conversation.
So they want to make a game, but they don't know how to make the game, and then
Yeah, they don't know how to make the game. But video games are an interesting beast because we've all played a video game before. So we clearly know how video games work.
or what to expect at least.
Yeah, what we expect out of video games, so that should be good enough.
Yeah, except how are you gonna sell a product if you don't know how to make the product or acquire product?
Well, the thing is, they had programmers and they had artists.
Okay, that's really good.
Those are all the things, though, right? You don't need anything else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they don't know how to make a character move on. Actually, you said card game, like they don't know how to make the cards act a certain way, like making the game rules or whatever.
That's my point. Like, they don't know, like, what about why. So I asked them, why would somebody play your game over Magic the Gathering? Because
What?
Magic the Gathering is a well-designed game
Huh?
that has staying power. It's just a solid game and there've been tons of trading card games.
Yeah.
And there's a reason that you get somebody like Ben Brode, who was the director of Hearthstone. What was Ben Brode's title? Hold on. Ben Brode, American video game designer. So he was he was the game director of Hearthstone. He was the ideas guy.
There you go. A successful ideas guy who knew what he was doing.
Yep, exactly. He directed Hearthstone, and now that he doesn't work with Hearthstone, if you want to make a video game that, is a card game, Ben Brode is one of those men you can hire because he knows how to make a fucking card game. That's what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
making the characters move on screen, making the cards actually draw from the deck in the video game, somebody has a specialized knowledge on how to make that happen. But how to make people sit down, play your video game, and decide to continue playing it for the next 10 years, that's also a specialized skill. But because you can't literally see that play out in real time, In the same way you could like watch a 3D like a time lapse of like a 3D modeler doing his work. Because you can't tangibly see the results of that in real time. Even like Ben Brode would still be considered an ideas guy, and I'm sure he had a lot. And I'm speaking on his behalf right now. Who knows? Maybe he knew somebody, because that is actually something that happens a lot. Is that people know something, or people know somebody.
You know a guy.
They know a guy that gets them into the industry.
Hmm.
But you know, having an idea for a video game, even if it's great, even if you know how to design it to make it to where people want to play it, they're like, oh well, we don't need that. Because that's not one of the things that you need in order to make a video game. You need like programmers and artists and musicians, and that's all.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, and best of luck to you then.
What would your role be in this little game project?
Director.
Okay.
I would be the Ben Brode. But because I know that that's not a viable role, my role would also be writer. I would also want to write. I would want to do the money stuff. So writing, marketing, directing. I would want to bring the people together. Because that's always been something I've been very good at. I've always been very good at. See, this is what I tell people. The reason I am, able to get such interesting things made, and you know, like the art for Haunt Lich, or music, or anything really interesting. Like I know it's not much, but my Twitch stream, up until I think next week is when I'm going to start moving everything over, because my guy like vanished off the face of the earth.
Oh.
I hope he's okay.
Yeah.
Hold on one sec.
I'm holding off.
My stream, like the bot, is completely unique. I have my boss bar. The fact that it's like a vertical boss bar is completely unique. Because all my stuff's been coded by hand by somebody in particular. Unfortunately, it's not keeping up with like all of the stuff that's being developed for Twitch streamers nowadays. So I'm gonna move stuff over. Like I'm gonna stop using the custom bot, and I'm just gonna use Mix It Up bot, stuff like that.
Stuff that just works.
Yeah, exactly. And it kind of sucks because I like having all my
No.
special, unique things.
Yo, Godfishy, welcome back. It's been a while. Sorry.
But what I always tell people is, because I understand that I don't have all these skills, I've come to the conclusion that I cannot make a video game all by myself. So what I do instead is I use my incredible power that I discovered I had in college. This is my superpower. To sniff out people who are actually talented.
A nose for talent. Interesting.
Yes. I find that I am very good at identifying when people are talented.
Or skilled. Or okay.
Not skilled, talented. Like I can tell when somebody is unskilled but high potential. And that has benefited me a lot, at least in college. Unfortunately, most people leave me when they become both skilled and talented.
Oh no.
Which is not. I mean, I'm not gonna whine about it. I feel like a proud kung fu sensei when they go off and do their own thing. But
so they successfully trained and they're now surpassing the master.
Exactly.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
But every once in a while, I'm like, can you guys stick around long enough to like help me make a thing? I'm not asking for much, just a little something, something. But if I were to be part of a group that was making a video game, I would want to take the role of the director. I would want to take the role of one of the writers at least. And what is the name? That's definitely a name of a person. Hold on. What? It's not the producer. The executive producer. It changes. The reason I'm asking is because it changes depending on like what media you're producing.
Oh, I see. I wouldn't know.
The executive game producer.
I'm trying to think along with you, but I can't think of what that the title would be.
Okay, so the executive producer manages all of the products, all the products in the company,
Okay,
and make
okay.
sure that the games are on track to meet company goals. Okay, so like an indie studio, like an indie group making a game, would not need an executive producer.
Well, executive maybe not, but a producer nonetheless. Then yeah,
A producer, yeah, to make sure that like we're meeting timetables and whatnot.
a Trello board. I remember when we used those in my little project. In my with the team that I was making a game with. There was meetings to make sure that everyone knows what to do and up to speed on the current conditions of the workplace, as it were.
Right.
It's yeah, meetings and version control. One time I messed up so bad that we lost a week worth of progress, and I felt really bad. But they took it well because it's me. Haha. So
It happens.
it
And with
happens.
and like one of my issues is, and this was, and I wish I had known this when I was in college. Um, there are no entry level jobs for the things I want to do.
Oh, you just
You can
go.
only really take like apprenticeships and internships and things like that.
And jump right in there.
Yeah, and you have to just jump in there. You have to observe the job going on before you can actually do it. And I didn't know that. I didn't know that going into college. So one of my roadblocks for wanting to be part of a big like game design project is I would know what to do as the director. I would know what to do as the writer, but I would kind of be winging it as the producer.
Take it
Like
till you make it.
I would not know exactly like what like a timetable should look like for game development. I don't know. I would need to exploit the knowledge of the talented people around me in order to make me look like I know what I'm talking about.
I see.
Which
I
is why
see.
I'd also be a great politician.
Would you like to go into politics?
Actually,
Oh no.
no, I'm dead serious. There was a time, and that time is still now. I still consider this. There was a time when I wanted to run for mayor,
Mayor. All right.
but I realized that like jumping right into mayor, like you want to go for like smaller. You want to fry some smaller fish before you go for like fucking mayor. So I'm looking at like, oh, I can't remember. What it is. It's like a small. It's smaller.
Smaller
You know
town.
what I mean. Terrible start. They're like, what position would you want to run for? And I'm like, yeah, whichever one gives me power.
Oh, you're honest. I'd vote for that guy.
Don't? Aw, why not? I would be a fantastic mayor because my philosophy for politics would be the exact same as my philosophy for game design. I would surround myself with talented people who know better than I do, and I would feed off of them, and by virtue of feeding off of their talent, I would suddenly look like I knew what I was talking about.
Yeah, I got nothing. It's yeah.
I think the greatest mistake I could ever make was assuming that I could do it on my own, and I did make that mistake for a long time. Like I spent a lot of time fucking around in Unreal Engine 4 and Unreal Engine 5, and I fucked around in Unity and in Game Maker and in RPG Maker, and I'm like,
You don't know.
I used to blame I used to blame my ADHD on my inability to learn how to code or 3D model or anything like that. And I realized I had to sit down, and I did this like this year. I sat down and I had this realization. I was looking at my Unreal Engine 5 and I was like, man, I don't think I'm having fun with this part.
Yeah.
I think like fundamentally, I don't like this aspect of game development. Like I do not enjoy sitting down and writing code. So there's nothing I can do about that. I just have to accept that is the way I am.
Okay. So you don't want you don't want to be a solo developer because it's not something that you can find enjoyment in.
Right. Exactly. I don't enjoy the I don't enjoy coding. I kind of enjoy 3D modeling. I find 3D modeling to be very fun. I'm just really not good at it.
It's a start.
But I know, but the thing is, by virtue of trying these things for so long, I know a good amount about them, so I wouldn't be useless.
So you
I know a lot of theory, not a lot of
execution or
execution, exactly.
practice.
But that's the thing, Kawazu. That's the thing, Kawazu. Coding is fun. You're perfect then. That's who I want. I want people who think coding is fun.
I also think it's kind of fun, but the problem is, if a code works, I don't know why it works. It just works, and I just don't want to mess with it.
Oh,
So
the worst kept secret, in coding is that nobody fucking knows how any of this stuff works.
yes.
Team Fortress 2. Do you know about the coconut?
Oh, I'm vaguely familiar with that. If you delete yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, if you delete the coconut, the game stops working.
Why? I don't know.
There is a PNG of a coconut in the game's files, and nobody knows why it's there. But when you delete it, the game stops working altogether, and nobody can figure out why that is. So you fucking leave it alone. You just don't touch the coconut PNG.
Do not touch the coconut PNG.
You don't question it. Oh, and there's a lot of code theft that goes on too. Nobody fucking cares.
Yeah, except when the I think a couple of people cared about code theft during the production of No Man's Sky, which is kind of weird because
see,
yeah.
Go ahead.
All the well, don't quote me on this. It's I've only known this from a like internet historian video, so I'm not sure how much of it is true. So there's this a guy that claimed that the developers of No Man's Sky used a code that is similar to his, or he thought that they stole it from him, which is kind of weird because they came up with it themselves. Like it's the procedural generated code or something. And
so
yeah,
I think what that is like if we were to make a game and we wanted to have certain mechanics, we can't use certain mechanics because they're patented. Like one of the things that annoys
Nemesis
me.
system.
Yeah, like the Nemesis system, or something simple like apparently Nintendo has patented the mechanic to where when your character goes behind an object, your character is silhouetted.
What?
Yeah, so in Super Mario Sunshine, when you walk behind an object, you can see a silhouette of Mario.
Oh yeah, I get that, but patented? Really?
They patented that, yes.
So...
Which I think is a gigantic detriment to 3D game design, because like how else do you do that? It's why so many games make the object see-through when you get behind them. Because you can't just keep the object physical. You can't just keep the object solid and show a silhouette, because you'd have to pay Nintendo for the privilege of being able to use that mechanic.
This is the
and most small developers aren't willing to do that.
Yeah, this is the light bulb all over again, isn't it?
Kinda, yeah.
That sucks. It also kind of sucks with the Nemesis system, like we mentioned. It's now no one can use that, and the sad thing is they don't even reuse it for any future games. They just have a patent for them, but not use it. It's
well, I mean, like the Crazy Taxi Arrow is still patented, but when's the last time Sega made a Crazy Taxi game?
That's patented too.
Yep, that is also patented. In fact, I think there's a list. Video game mechanic.
Video games mechanic
patents.
that you cannot use. Out there.
A comprehensive. I'm sure you can find a comprehensive list, but the most lists you'll find are like. Oh, that's from 2012. Hold on.
In that year, they predicted that the world was gonna end.
It did end.
Yeah, in our hearts.
So I guess Apex Legends had a ping system that everybody liked, and they patented it.
Ping system is... Oh,
the Nemesis system in Shadow of Mordor, we knew about that.
Yeah.
Mass Effect's dialogue wheel is patented.
God damn.
Oh, Play While You Wait is patented. I forgot. That's a big one.
Wait, remember.
You know how old video games used to have like mini games you could play during the loading screens?
No.
Wait, no, you don't know about that?
But no, I'm vaguely familiar with it because I heard it about it, but
Yeah,
I haven't seen it in any other games before.
right. So pre 1995, that was just a thing. Like some games had little mini games you could play during the loading screens.
That's cool.
But in 1995, Namco took out a patent for the use of, quote, auxiliary
Hey,
mini
it's me.
games during. Yeah, that is you. But yeah, you can't put auxiliary mini games during loading screens in your game anymore, thanks to Namco, who doesn't even fucking develop video games anymore, so thanks.
I'm gonna draw a big hand that goes over your face, doing a massive face
Ooh,
palm.
ooh, the sanity system.
Oh, from Amnesia, right? And
Uh,
also,
yeah, from Amnesia.
the other one, Eternal Darkness.
Fun fact: Eternal Darkness was the game that got it patented, not Amnesia.
Huh. But
Apparently, this mechanic expired in 2021, though. So,
then Amnesia came out like a couple of years later.
Nintendo at one point patented the D-pad, which expired in 2005. So,
Oh, thank God they have expiration dates. It's alright. At some point, that's not gonna be the only thing that's gonna be patented. Like, I think dances are gonna be patented or something because there's already, you know, the Fortnite default dance. You know where
oh, I'm
that?
shocked. I'm actually shocked that none of these companies have ever tried to patent like an in-game taunt.
Oh God, we probably shouldn't talk about it because it might happen if we talk about it.
Right? I feel like Epic Games would do that.
Shut up, shut up. Don't say it. Otherwise, it's gonna happen. But don't change it. Like, shut up. Shut up.
But anyways, to bring us back to put a nice little bow on this, the thing I would want to do for game design, for game dev, would be designer, director, marketing, back end stuff. Like, unfortunately, things that would not be considered to be the important creative stuff. Why are you putting a bow on me?
You just had to put a bow on it. I did.
Who said that? Who
You.
did that?
But yeah, I can rewind the tape saying you. All right, let's put a nice bow on it.
Oh my God! You.
I mean, you have power over this, so you can add whatever you want on this little art piece that I'm doing.
No, he's looking pretty fucking
Huh?
fucking groovy right now, actually.
Yeah,
I like your art. Your art is very good. I like it a lot.
I appreciate you saying that, Hans. Thank you, thank you.
But the issue I have is I don't have any fucking money.
But I don't have any time.
Ain't that a bad a bitch?
It's it's kind of like the Team 4-star quote. Like, I'm I'm dying of thirst while watching another man drown. You know?
But I've had people tell me that, like, hey, I want to work on a game design project with you. I want you to do design for this game. And I'm like, cool. I look forward to it. And then they just never get back to me.
Oh,
I'm like, that's all right.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna lose any sleep over it. Although I guess I'm still talking about it, so I must be upset on some level.
Yeah, it's. I guess there's the success story of Minecraft. Like, it started as a little game on a certain forum, and then it became a multi-billion-dollar like IP or something. Like, it got sold to Microsoft for $1 billion.
Oh, but that is an issue that I run into a lot when I talk to people. I'm like, hey, let's collaborate on a game project. And they're like, cool. And they always want to make some big ass, like, $200,000 budget game.
Jesus.
And I'm like, no, let's make a proof of concept of something that we can kickstart and then fund later. Or let's make something small that we can turn into like a brand or like a franchise.
Yeah, start.
And they're like, no, I want to make the next Fortnite. And I'm like,
Damn it.
you don't have the fucking chops. I don't have the chops to make the next Fortnite, okay? So we need to start with fucking Angry Birds
Okay.
and go from there. And that's a roadblock that I run into a lot.
Hey.
Where people don't like thinking small. I used to have this problem. With thinking small. Because it's hard. It is hard to think small.
Yeah. Like, there's no humble beginnings anymore. You just wanted to start from the top and end at the top.
Oh yeah, but a lot of people don't realize, like the guys that made Angry Birds, bringing up Angry Birds again,
Uh-huh.
he only made 70 games before Angry Birds.
Oh. Well, I mean...
They made 70 mobile games before they made Angry Birds.
I mean, I get that they made a couple of games, but 70, that's
70.
yeah, that's a pretty big number.
Mm-hmm.
So they knew
But
what they were
because
doing.
all of their game projects were, they made a bunch of very small mobile games that were very simple.
Yeah.
In fact, Angry Birds, I remember watching a documentary about it. Angry Birds was the last game they were going to make. They were like, this is the last one. If this one doesn't work, we're out. We're out of money. But Angry Birds was the one, dude.
Kind of happened with Final Fantasy as well.
Oh yeah, Final Fantasy was the same way. They were like, it's this or nothing. It was nice knowing you guys. See you later. And then they were like, boss, come back. The fucking everyone's buying the game.
Gentlemen, it has been a privilege. And then the Titanic unsank itself.
But then you also have moments like Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Tony Hawk Pro Skater was expected to be a flop.
Oh, really?
Right? Yep. Because nobody. Who the fuck is Tony Hawk? Also, skateboarding games. No. Yeah. No. People who ride skateboards do not play fucking video games. And also, who the shit knows who Tony Hawk is? He's a nobody. They sit down. Apparently, the story goes that they sit down Tony Hawk after the first game came out. Like the director of the game sits down with Tony at like a coffee shop.
Hello, Mr. Hawk.
And he's like, "Hello, Mr. Hawk."
That's so cool.
And he's like, "I'm gonna need you to chill for a minute." And Tony was like, "It's that bad, huh?" And the director slides Tony Hawk a check for like $4.5 million.
Jesus Christ, that's not nearly
And
enough.
he's like, the game has done extremely well.
Yeah, that's
And that's why he was like, it was like the angel coming down and being like, be not afraid. He was like, okay, Tony, I'm about to give you something and I need you to be calm.
4-point-something million.
4.5, apparently it was about $4.5 million. And according to Tony Hawk, all of his fortune comes from the Tony Hawk Pro Skater series. All of it.
Yeah, now he can build his own skate paradise, or whatever he wants to do.
But he talked about it. He said he would never have made the amount of money he made skateboarding that he made doing the Tony Hawk games.
That's
and that was just the money he made being the guy in the game. Imagine how much money everybody else got to fucking take home.
Oh, yeah.
There's big money to be made in game development if you're willing to accept that sometimes you make 70 games before you make Angry Birds.
Yeah.
The issue is like, yeah, like it's what Green Tea said. People want to make the next big thing. Nobody wants to make 70 games before Angry Birds comes out.
No one.
No one. Which is why when I'm like, let's make a game, my idea is like, can we do something interesting with like a brick breaker? And then people's eyes fucking glaze over because they're like, I don't want to fucking make a brick breaker. And I'm like, yeah, but if the brick breaker is successful and we make a bunch of money, we can make other cool games.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta start somewhere. You can't just... I don't know. They see something cool and shiny, but they have no idea how to get there. Like, it's...
Right, they want to get to the top of the mountain, but they're not willing to climb.
Yeah, like if
you hit them with the part where they have to get a Sherpa, and they're like, you know what, I'm not into it.
Sherpa, that is lame. I don't want to do it anymore. You do it, and then you become...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's me. I'm the Sherpa, by the way. In the... Yeah, small losses versus big losses. Imagine your first game is a brick breaker, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't do well, and it fucking flops. That's disappointing, right?
Huh?
But you can pick up the pieces and move on. If your first project is fucking like Fortnite 2, and it flops, that's it. You're fucking done. Everyone go home. You're out of money.
Yeah, and then you can... if you spend money at least for this $1 million project, you can at least pick up the scraps and make something else with it. Like, you
Right.
got the experience. Like you got the maybe some assets that you're not gonna use for this thing, but you can reuse them to do something else with it and make something interesting. There is a game called Bullet Spearmint or Beat Spearmint or something like that, and the entire game is made in like standard assets that you can buy from the store, but they put a filter on top of it to make it at least somewhat unique, and that's how they do it. Like it's not a $1 million project, far from it, but it's at least a game that some people remember it by. Then again, I don't know if you heard of the game before. Now I think about
I
it.
haven't. But there's a lot of games out there.
Yeah, a lot of
Here's the thing,
games.
it's like YouTube. It's like YouTube. There are YouTubers out there you've never heard of that have 30 million subscribers.
Such as? I'll just name one example.
Okay,
Never heard of him. Sorry.
well, here's what I can do. Here's how I can go to youtube.com in an incognito window. And I will sort. Do you know Darman?
I have never heard of this mysterious man
You've
before.
never heard of Darman? Darman has 18 million subscribers.
80 million?
18 million. His most recent video, his videos average 2 to 3 million views. And you've just never heard of him.
I see.
That's my point.
Yeah.
My point is, like, fucking, you can make a game, and it has an audience of, like, 1,000 people. And that's enough.
That's all you need.
In fact, if Soul Calibur 6 had 1,000 people playing it right now, I'd be like, holy shit, we're back, baby!
One of these days, I'm gonna play Soul Calibur 6 with you.
Oh, it's fun. We'll play it together. I'm not as good as people like. I'll rate other streamers and they'll be like, oh my god, it's Hauntlich. He's so fucking good at Soul Calibur. Bitch, I'm like D tier, okay? I'm like solidly D rank. So fucking
Let's go.
stop. You're embarrassing me.
Embarrassing me in front of all these cool people.
You have a point. Time to install Godot again. And that's the issue. That's another issue I have. I'll get on my soapbox and I'll be like, game design is cool. Everybody make a video game. And everybody be like, yeah, I'm gonna go make a video game. And everyone runs off to make a video game and I'm alone on my soapbox.
And then they come crawling back because, oh,
And I'm like, no, nobody comes crawling back. Some people make video games. They're like, woo, I made a video game. And I'm like, I was kind of hoping you'd bring me along. I was kind of hoping somebody would take me with them.
Speaking of making a video game, what is your multi-million-dollar video game idea that you have got cooking?
I'll tell you one of them in just a sec. Kawazu in your chat asks, how's Soul Calibur compared to Tekken? Apples and oranges. They're not similar at all, except for the fact that they're both 3D.
It's different in...
Soul Calibur is more focused on footsies and mind games. There are very few combos. Strings are very short. Whereas Tekken has long strings and combos and whatnot. Okay, so my game design, one of my game ideas. I'm trying to think of like which one would I want to talk about? Because there are a couple. One of my game ideas is actually less of a game idea and more of like a brand idea.
A brand? Okay.
A brand, yep. So one of the things I wanted to do was a series of action RPGs that all take place in the same setting, but tell different stories and unlockables from the individual games. Like they could be small. Like my original idea, and this is how far back this idea goes, was that you would have unlocks you get from like the Game Boy Advance that you could use in other games.
Boy Advance, okay.
Yeah, Game Boy Advance. That's how old. That's how long I've been thinking about this. Which, funny enough, back then it wouldn't have worked. I don't think the technology was there to make such a concept work. Nowadays, though, you could very easily have like in-game unlocks you get from like a mobile game use like take effect on your account on like an MMO or something like that. That's way easier now than it would have been in 2006. But a series of solid action adventure RPGs. It's funny, kind of similar. Not. When I'm talking about game design, I hate comparing things to existing things. By the way, I love the castle you've got in the background.
Oh
I've been
yeah.
telling Lobotomy Bunny that she doesn't have to think that hard about backgrounds, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. Like that is perfectly sufficient as like a backdrop. It doesn't need any more than that. I get it. There's a castle back there. It's perfect. Like
Communications, I always
yeah,
say.
less is more. Exactly.
Also, by the way, chat,
um
I am reading through chat, but I'm not ignoring chat, but it's kind of hard to
oh, if
interject.
you want to catch up with chat real quick while I flesh out my thoughts, you can.
All right, you know what? Let's give you a break, so I'm gonna read chat for a bit. Hang on, let me put this on the screen. Also, Fontaine is dead. Welcome to the stream. I'm sorry that I didn't say anything sooner, but yeah, much appreciated. I'm glad that you like the emotes. All right, you have a wall of text, but for the purposes of this stream, I'm just gonna read it out loud. Don't worry. Those are similar in music making, like when you start, you have to play the simple songs. If you start at the higher difficulty stuff, you might succeed, but you don't get the experience and could develop bad habits that are harder to undo in the future. And you generally don't buy a mad expensive instrument, because if you can play a bad instrument well, you can play a good instrument very well, and you'll appreciate where all the money is going. I see. Um, yeah, there's you gotta have some experience to build, like have a foundation to build on top of it. Then you can start seeing the flaws and the mistakes you make along the way. Even if it's something you don't do very well, you can have something to build off of. That makes any sense? Or maybe I got it completely wrong. Oh, Holland?
I'm still here.
Oh, so you got quiet all of a sudden.
I was letting you talk.
Oh no, I'm not. Well, strangely enough, I'm not really good with conversation or how to interject. I'm very good with listening, but now I'm kind of doing multiple things at the same time. But this is for the purposes of just having people to look at something while we're talking about game dev stuff.
Well, I appreciate that. I've been enjoying watching it myself. I like watching people draw.
Yeah, it's like I'd start like in the beginning of the stream. I just start with a blank canvas, and then I slowly start filling stuff in the background, and even just add add more stuff on top of it. But yeah, that is actually kind of like game dev. You start with something small and slow, and using the experiences of like your previous games or projects or whatever you worked on to do something that you've never done before. Just use the tools to your, how do you say that? I guess you use the tools and resources that you have available and use them how you see fit.
Right.
Thirsty, even though I didn't mistake watching Oxrock as
So
therapy. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
one of the strategies with this brand was going to be that all the games take place in the same setting, because people are fucking obsessed with deep lore. And I was actually
Yes.
not uninspired, but what's the term? Like the wind was taken out of my sails when Dark Souls came out.
Oh, because they do it better, or
Because Dark Souls was very similar to what I wanted.
oh,
Similar but not the same. And I was like, well shit. They did the thing.
they did it first.
Yeah, they did the thing first. I have since gotten over that. Because similar but not the same means it's not the same, and at the end of the day, that's not the same. Nice dick tower.
Yeah, I was about to say, don't worry about it. I cut the top off, so.
I cut the tip of the wee wee off. Okay, perfect.
Christ.
But one of the strategies to make this a more financially, because even back then I was thinking about what the finances of the project were going to be, was reusing assets, just reusing the shit out of assets. Like if we have an enemy that appears in one of the first games, fucking bring him back. Why not? It all takes place in the same setting. It wouldn't be weird for like game 1 to have the same goblins as game 2, because it's the same fucking setting.
Yeah, I think I'll start to bring it up again. Dark Souls also, well, some of the Souls series does it. Like they repurposed, I want to say
Right.
the Moonlight Sword or something. Or
Well, not just like repurposing ideas, but From Software gets a lot of shit for it because people don't understand how game dev works. But one of the things that I learned very early on was that you want to make sure your assets are as future proof as possible. Like when you make the animations for a bad guy, you want to use them again. You want to make sure you can reuse them. Otherwise, it's a fucking waste of money. The
You know,
reason people give From Software shit for it is because they don't realize that the only reason companies like Activision don't do this with Call of Duty is because they're not fucking allowed to. They're they're given specific like contracts and restrictions from how many assets they can reuse from previous games.
that is weird.
Whereas From Software doesn't have that. From Software, they make all their shit in house, so they can just reuse fucking Ornstein in every game if they wanted to. And the only reason they don't is because they just decided they didn't want to use him in every single game. I'm talking about literal assets, though, Gween T. I'm talking about, like, literally, you fucking made Ornstein. He's in both games. He's in the first two games. I'm surprised he didn't show up in 3. Why not? I was a little disappointed. They put me in Anne Orlando in Dark Souls 3, and Ornstein wasn't there. I was like, he's been in the last 2 games. I kind of just thought he was gonna be fucking
everywhere.
I'm just like, where is he? Okay, Gween. We're talking about the same thing. I'm just stupid.
That's fine. I mean, yeah. The Yakuza series also does that. Like, they reuse animations. The basic idle pose animation when people are talking. Yeah, they've been reusing that shit since the very first game, or so I've been told.
Like, because why wouldn't you?
Yeah,
if you're allowed to do that, that's just good economics at that point.
Yeah, and that's how they can make more and more Yakuza game. It's yeah. I mean, I guess I can get why people perceive it as lazy, but it's there is a game studio that didn't use modular assets, so instead they keep making new assets, like unique assets for every level. Like, you see the plant in the background? Yep, that's the only plant in the background of the entire game. And then
that's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. But I think it's I think it was like I forgot the name, but I remember the studio, Ronimo Games or something like that. Like, I've seen that in a like during the days of the Nintendo Wii. That's how old it is. But these guys, they just make unique assets for literally everything, which is nuts. And then in one of the developer videos, they said, "Yeah, we realized this isn't the best idea, so we start repurposing old assets, and it turns out that's actually way better."
That's crazy to me that they at any point thought that was the right way you were supposed to do it. Like Ween T said, the fucking cobblestone.png texture, like I used to make Doom maps. I've dabbled in Doom mapping, and fucking, oh my god, I cannot tell you how many like textures from the 90s still get used in Doom mapping, because it's just like the fucking brick texture was good in 1990. There's no reason why it wouldn't be good now.
Well, you gotta be careful with using textures, because some of those textures are copyrighted, like the ones they used in Resident Evil 4.
Right. Well, you should pay attention to like what assets you're using.
Yes, exactly.
And make sure that you know you're giving the right people the right amount of money, or the right attribution or whatever.
Or you can like make your own textures, but I guess that's more difficult.
It is. Making textures is actually pretty difficult.
All right. Yeah, fair enough. There are ways to, like, you can take a picture of a brick wall and kind of put a filter on top of it.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, if I were running the budget for a game, and they're like, we need a fucking cobblestone texture, I'm like, well, obviously I'm gonna try to figure out if I can do that for free or for cheap before I pay somebody to go fucking like take pictures of cobblestone for me.
Also, to answer the question, yes, I made games before. I have some knowledge on how to make a game, but I haven't released any yet. So take anything that I say with a grain of salt. I know how to make a game, like, from start to finish, but I haven't released any yet. But it looks alright. Also, I think I can kind of show off what I have, what I got going, because as a matter of fact, I think I still have Unreal Engine. There we go. like, yeah, I am making a game by myself, but here's the thing. Last year, I had to stop a different game project that I was working on for many, many years because it took me too long to finish it. Because there are games that took, well, 10 to 15 years until they're done, and I I don't have that much time. Like, otherwise I'll be working on a game forever, and at some point I do want to release it and have people play it or see the light of the day or whatever. Like, I have this at the moment, but I am getting there. This is a brand new project that I'm working on, and the goal is to have a playable demo ready before the end of this year. I've already got something going, but it's very rough in its current state, and it only needs a little bit of polishing and a little bit of everything, really. I'm confident that I'm able to do it. Just takes a little bit of time. Oh, right. Jeez, I'm getting pissed off of these own machinations that are fighting against me. But
Right, and that was another strategy I was thinking of with the brand I wanted to start was having some of the games be episodic, so
oh,
that like if there was a time when I didn't have access to, or I guess this is back when I thought I'd be doing it myself, back when I was much more confident in my abilities. Um,
still
that if I didn't
possible.
have time to put out a whole story, that
Oh,
I could release it in chapters.
hmm. Well, you could, but then you need to focus on like the basis to work off of. If you have
Right.
for example, if you're gonna make a Mario game, you gotta make sure you have your Mario character, your Goombas, and your levels, and then slap a story on top of it. Uh, and if you're gonna do it episodically, you have at least something to build levels with, to rearrange the locations of the Goombas or the Koopas or whatever. And maybe in between you have time to like work on a new like uh what's it called, like a new asset to work off of.
Right.
But yeah,
No,
that's
I think nowadays I think the episodic thing, I think that would be unnecessary.
necessary. All right.
I think back in like the early like the 2010s, 2015s ish area, I think people were much more accepting of games that came out episodically. I remember that being a thing that happened a lot on Steam.
Oh yeah, Half-Life was a episodic game, but it
Right, but
never got. Well, everyone knows the
yeah,
story that it
we
never.
know.
But for the purposes of the stream and recording, it never got to 3, or episode 3 at least. I mean, there's probably a reason why it never came to 3, but it turns out, the reason why Valve never made a third game in its installment is because the first one is they had an idea going, and the second one is they have like unused ideas of that first idea, but then after that they don't know what else to do with the idea. Like it goes for Portal, for Left 4 Dead, and I guess Half-Life to some extent. But we got like the VR Half-Life, so I guess they still had some ideas for that series. You can call it a series.
I
Well,
also read once that they didn't think that they would be able to make Half-Life 3 good enough to
oh,
justify its existence. That like that nothing they could make could ever live up to the expectations for
uh,
Half-Life 3. And that after all this time they were like, "You know what? It might be time to just stop trying."
then it just fizzled out.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's disappointing, but not surprising.
I guess at some point they had to like throw in the towel and say, all right, that's
Right.
enough, because otherwise it just keeps going on and on.
Right, otherwise you just the game is just being developed forever and people still expect it. People still expect it to happen.
People died within that time frame.
Yeah, people died expecting Half-Life 3 to come out. So at some point you just got to say, "You know what? No, it's not. It's not going to come out. I'm sorry."
Metal Gear Solid the movie's never gonna come out.
Soul Calibur the movie doesn't exist. Hexen 2012 doesn't exist. Shit happens.
Indeed. I guess that's why like these kinds of projects, like any kind of project, is kept secret, so people won't be
Oh
expecting
yeah,
it. And once they announce it, then the hype is there. People are excited, and they have a release date, so they can still be excited. And when the game releases, then everyone will buy it because they expect the game to be out. But then, if you announce a game but it's still in development and you don't know if it's going to come through, and yeah, the hype dies down a bit. And then even if it releases, then people are like, "Oh wait, that exists? Oh, all right, I didn't know that." Weird. Yeah, that looks
yeah. I
alright.
think I think if I ever did actually get to work on a game project, I think there would be very few people I actually told, if anybody.
I told the people at my workplace, and they seems really excited for this new game that I'm making. And they immediately start thinking of how much money it makes. But I want to make the game because I want to make the game. I want to use every skill and assets that I have available to make the game that I wanted to make. But I know it's very difficult and a long road ahead of me.
Right.
Yeah, like I said before, some games took like a decade or even 15 years to make. Have you ever heard of the game Owlboy?
I have heard of Owlboy. Yes,
You
I am familiar with it.
you know how long it take to make that game?
I don't know how long, but I do know it was ridiculous.
Yeah, a decade, because stuff happens. Life stuff happens. So of course things are gonna get in between the development of the game. It's now I think about it, maybe Owlboy is kind of like a ambitious project. Like it looks deceptively simple, like mechanically wise, but there's probably like a lot going on in how they make the game work and how they make the gameplay elements. Because these people may or may not be experienced with it, but they did it. They actually finished the game and they released it, and it's pretty good. It's really good. I liked it. I played through it. It's fun, and yeah, heartwarming. In some cases,
And
definitely.
for every story like that,
Yeah.
for every story like that, you have a story like, oh, what's it called? Hold on. You have a story like Cube World.
Wait, is that? Oh yeah.
You ever heard of Cube World?
Is it the game where you can make your own weapons using voxels or something?
Yep, that is the Voxel sandbox game that was in development for fucking ages by one, maybe two guys.
That's amazing.
Wally, that was his name. Wally. Uh,
Finally.
Wally. Wally had Cube World in development for almost that long. It officially released in 2019, and I think he'd been working on it since like 2010, 2011.
Oh,
And when he first released the demo, like the proof of concept, basically, back in like 2013, 2014, it was great. People fucking loved it. They were like, "This is gonna beat Minecraft." They're
hell
like,
yeah.
"This game is the tits. It is the evolution of sandbox games." And then he went dark for a while developing the game. He was a solo developer for the most part, so it made sense that it was taking a while.
Okay, that's
Um,
fair.
that's fair. Turns out Wally is a perfectionist who doesn't actually know what he wants out of his own project.
Oh.
This is where the role of the director comes in. So your developers can't be like, actually, I've suddenly decided that I really want the game to be completely different than what we've been working on for the past 6 years. The director can be like, no, that's not what we're doing.
Yeah.
We're going to keep it as is. That way, you don't have incidents like the Cube World 2019 release, where he released the game to the public, and it was fucking nothing like what they played in the original proof of concept. Like, fucking the alpha. Fucking nothing like it. So many mechanics were different. So many design choices had been undone. The progression sucked. The way the crafting worked had been stripped away. It was bad.
Oh
It had
no.
gone from being the evolution of sandbox games,
To the
the game that would kill Minecraft, to having mixed reviews on Steam and being remembered as that game that fucking, I mean, it's a voxel game that sucks. Oh, there's like a bajillion of those.
That's sad.
It is really sad. The story of Cube World is a very sad story.
He got something going, but then he's much of a perfectionist. Like, alright, me as a solo game developer, like I'm trying to finish the game in some way, like have people play it. Because, alright, at some point when I was working on a previous game project, like, oh, and then I want to do this, and I want to do that, and oh, this is a cool mod for a game called Overgrowth, and I can make my own custom levels and stories. And then I showed them to my classmates, and they were like, oh, that's really neat, Gino. What happened to that other project of yours? When I heard those words, it was like I'm being hit with a cold shower of realization, like, oh my god, it's been going like this for forever. Like, I need to stop. I need to make a hard decision, like,
yeah, exactly.
yeah, just lock it down. Just don't do anything else. Just focus on that one thing and make sure it releases. And that is also kind of why I'm reluctant to announce that I'm making a game, because people have expectations, and if they are not met, then you disappoint them. But the truth is, like, I don't disappoint anyone. You just disappoint yourself. Like,
but that is the curse of the solo developer, of the solo game dev, is
yes.
There's nobody around to tell you, hey, we're still making this game like this. This is still the game we're making. It has to get finished.
Yes. Some guiding hands, or a shepherd for the sheep. Ah.
And that's what I would do.
you're just gonna
get your shit together. You have game to make.
Oh, I'm just gonna come in and like, Haunt, look at this neat feature that I make, and then you start bonking me with the shepherd stick, like, no, don't do that.
No. And not exactly like that. I mean, if all the other stuff got done, you had like a cool idea. I'm not gonna be like, no, it's my vision. I finally got you fuckers to code shit for me, and you're gonna do it exactly like I say. Actually, no. Oh god, in college there was a guy like that. He was like, I saw a lot of myself in him. Or he was like, you know, he was an ideas guy. He wanted to be the director. He wanted to surround himself with talented people, and he finally got the people. He finally got the people to make the game with him. It was like a third-person shooter of some kind.
Huh?
He was living the dream.
Yeah.
But he was a fucking tyrant, dude.
Oh no.
He was like, you fucking code monkeys are gonna do it exactly like I say. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, sometimes it's necessary, but by the sounds of it, it's not going anywhere. Like, it's...
No, yeah, sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes you're like, okay, here's how the melee mechanics are gonna go. Here's how the melee mechanics are. I've thought about this for a long time, and I've done research. Here's how it's gonna go. And before anybody's even, like, prototyped it, they're like, actually, we should do it like this. I'm like, actually, just fucking do it. And if it's wrong, we can change it later. But just do it. And I back in college, I did get into fights. I did get into fights with people. Because people really don't like being told what to do.
Or how to do it.
Or especially how to do it. And the issue with being the director is I couldn't code it myself. I recognize that. I recognize that I can't code. So I have to get other people to code for me. So when they're like, when they try to make a creative decision that's counter to what I've asked for, I'm suddenly put in this really awkward situation where I have to tell the person who can't do what I do, I have to tell the person who can do what I can't do to do something differently. And I have to explain that what I do, they can't do. And going back to what I do has no tangible result, they're like, no, because I also have an idea. Therefore, I can do what you do.
Oh, that's...
I'm like,
that's a weird position to be in.
It is a very awkward position to be in. And that's why I've kind of abandoned the idea of just being the ideas guy. That's why I don't talk about game dev very much these days. Because I'm like, I understand my position in this realm, and until I've got money to back me up, it doesn't fucking matter.
You can have a vision, or like you can inspire people, and money
Right.
comes later. But everyone has to be on board with this vision or idea, and otherwise it just falls apart.
Right, and no, and I can never assemble the perfect Avengers team of people who believe in
The heartless vision.
the Hauntless vision enough, because I've never, like I said, I've never wanted to be a tyrant. I'm never going to be like, you can't incorporate your ideas. But like I've worked with people who wanted to change like core fundamental things, and I'm like,
Ooh.
I can tell immediately this isn't going to work out. And I've said this before. I've said this before to people. Again, because I used to do lots of game dev stuff in college. I spent a stupid amount of time doing game dev classes in college. It was dumb, but I got a lot of good experiences out of it.
That's good.
And one of them was having to explain that if they made the game the way they wanted to make the game, nobody would play it. Nobody likes hearing that.
Oh, it's rough. Ah,
it is rough because like I don't want to be a dick, but I'm like, look, man. And this was somebody I knew personally. I was like, look, man, the one time you tried to DM a Dungeons and Dragons campaign for us, it fucking sucked. You don't know how to make a game fun. So if you try to do this all by yourself, it's gonna suck. Other people, like, you don't know how to make the game fun.
But at least you're honest.
Well, I have to be honest because I want the project to happen and I want it to be good. And I want everybody to be on board. And I think I don't want to be like Rebecca Sugar. Do you know who Rebecca Sugar is?
Oh yes, the creator of Steven Universe and
the creator of Steven Universe
and Eden and Eddie Smut.
I don't want to be her, where she finally gets what she wants. She finally gets the chance to do her show, but because she can't tell the people around her no, they take creative control away from her. She no longer has the reins on the show, and it doesn't match the vision she had like at all.
How to explain some of the stuff in the show now I think about it.
Oh yeah.
Like I joined the show. Like it's not entirely my thing, but I joined for what it was. But there are some like weird animation issues that I've noticed, or like I don't know. But yeah,
well, not just the animation. The whole part with the cluster, like the big arm coming out of the planet.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, they were supposed to fight it.
Oh.
Yeah, in Rebecca Sugar's original vision, they were supposed to fight it.
Oh, right.
They don't fight it. They have like the fucking Steven cries at it, and it just decides to stop being a monster.
Like I get that Steven's a pacifist, but it's
No, yeah, that's actually where the show lost me. Because I was like, okay, clearly we have no interest in actually like resolving conflicts with like the world-ending monsters in this show, so I'm fucking out of here. But that happened because Rebecca Sugar was not able to rein in the rest of her creative staff. Everybody wanted to fucking put their finger in the pie. There were too many cooks in the kitchen. There were too many cooks.
Oh, perfectly spoken. Well said.
Mm-hmm.
Two tigers on a... Oh, sorry.
At the end of the day, if you're in somebody like Rebecca Sugar's position, you gotta sit down with your storyboarders or your programmers or your artists or whoever you have, and you're like, hey, I don't want to be a dick. I know I can't do this, but you need to fucking do it better. You need to do it like I ask you. The issue with doing that is if there's no money on the line, that's a really hard conversation to have.
Yeah. I think Hideo Kojima also has like a team of people that are... Alright, you know Kojima and how nuts he is with his ideas, right?
Yes.
So, one of his ideas, or I don't know the specifics, but he wanted to use a like some type of gun or weapon that exists in real life, but they, they can't use it because in that time period or the location that the game takes place in, it wouldn't make sense. So the whole team is against that idea, and they had to beg Mr. Kojima to not use that certain type of gun. But I think that's just one of the many instances of what happens behind the scenes in the Metal Gear Solid game development team.
Oh
I,
yeah,
I,
and to me, I would not pull a Kojima in that situation. If I was like, hey, we should do this, and fucking like every member of my development team was like, no, we should not do that, I'd be like, okay, why? Like,
yeah, why?
did I? Why not? Somebody tell me why, because maybe I fucked something up. Like, if it doesn't matter if I'm super excited about it either. If I'm like, oh, we should do this, and literally everybody's like, no, it's a fucking horrible idea. I'm not gonna just bend over, but also I'm not gonna be like, well, it's my idea. You have to do it the fucking way I asked you to.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta like. There's gotta be a reason why people are saying no. At least sometimes I have a really cool idea that I wanted to do, but then the majority of people that I've talked to say, "No, Gino, that's stupid. Don't do it." So I'm like, all right, if you say so, I trust you. You're my friend, and you wouldn't lie to me. I gotta say, you and Bubbo should meet at some point. Like he has like tons of stories like that where like during development cycles the client wants a thing and he had to say no, I can't do that, that is stupid, we can do something else, but the client wouldn't listen, of course. So it Bobo is a dear friend of mine, and he also helps me out with like game dev stuff, and he kind of like hit me on the wrist if I do or say something stupid about it, and trying to lead me on a good path, like make sure that the game that I'm working on actually gets finished. So I hope
That's really cool.
yeah, he's a cool dude. Like, oh, game dev man, it's wild.
Well, for the most part, I've actually given up on being part of game dev. If I'm being honest.
And it's never too late. Like if you know how to do it, then actually I'm willing to give you like consultant advice or whatever, and then
Oh, it's not just that. Like at this point, if I wanted to get into game dev, my only avenues for it would be solo dev or financier.
ooh, see.
And I'm like, I've already tried the solo dev route, and it's not even a matter of like I can't do it. I just fucking don't wanna.
Yeah, fair enough. But you are good at well, whatever you're good at, and then you can use that to make the game that you want to make.
I suppose everyone tells me that I could just like use a bunch of pre-made assets in Unreal and shit, and I'm like, fuck, maybe I should. Maybe I should just do that.
Yeah, why not? Like I did mention the other game before that only uses pre-made assets, and they used a filter to make it at least somewhat unique. There are
Shit, you know what? You're right. You're right. What fucking then I'd be able to say, hey, I made this. It was good. People liked it. So
yeah.
you should fucking take me seriously.
Yeah, you can even just make a proof of concept and then lure people into your like ideas, I guess. I think Minecraft also started with just program art. Like Notch, the big man behind Minecraft, he isn't much of an artist, but he knew how to make it look like a block of grass or a brick or whatever. And even if he makes mistakes, for example, the famous creeper got made because he messed up some I don't know, some 3D calculations that make the body vertical instead of horizontal. And that's how he created one of the most famous icons of Minecraft by mistake.
Right.
A creeper. And maybe you can you can totally make like a proof of concept or something, and then maybe other people can help you out with like stuff that you aren't good at, for example art or like programming or whatever. So yeah, start with pre-made assets, or fuck it, program art. It's as long as you have an idea that you can show to people. So welcome, first time chat forum. Bit shitty it. How's it going?
And I mean, with all the fucking tools, I mean, what Fortnite's creative thing that they just added too
Oh yeah.
is apparently very robust.
So I've been told, but I haven't dabbled into it yet. Again, if I'm not spending time on my game, then I'm just not. Yeah, I don't know. Otherwise, I'm falling into the trap of doing this and that, and then literally any other thing except work on the game. Well, but that's just me, I think. Doesn't look right.
I guess I should take my own advice and not think too big and be fine with using like pre-made assets and whatnot. I mean, if nobody else is gonna give me a hard time about it, then why should I?
Now you're thinking.
Ah, there we go. Is it? Be honest with me. Be honest with me,
All right, I'll be honest.
Mr. Genome.
That's me.
Is it possible to make a game without knowing how to code?
Yeah.
If I go into this, not only having like the most base fundamental understanding of how to code or how coding works, how far can I get just using like Unreal Engine and Unreal Engine assets and whatnot?
I'll show you. Let me put this up on screen again. There we go.
Because every time somebody's told me, "Oh, you don't have to know how to code to make a video game. Just use pre-made stuff."
But if you want hard code, like all right, let me show you what I have, and then I can hopefully explain what I did. Also, this music is loud. God damn, give me a sec. Can't think out loud with this music in the background. Then okay, so I want to make a mech game, but I don't know how to code a mech. So I break it down in the bare essentials, like how to make a character move. The way this works is just a default character, like built in Unreal Engine itself. The only thing that I did is replace the character model and change the collision capsule of this thing itself. Oh wait, you're not seeing this. No, you're not seeing this. Give me a sec. Or are you watching the stream?
I was watching the stream.
Okay. Actually, let me go to a live view. Change windows. There you go. All right. It makes explaining easier, and then. All right. So the character that you see moving on screen uses a default character stuff from the engine itself. So I don't have to code in the mathematical equations on how to make something move when you press the forward button. Because if I go to content browser and go to this thing, where does it? Oh, there we go. It opens up this giant menu, but you don't actually see any of this here. There it is.
Yeah, I've done enough. I've done enough Unreal tutorials that I'm familiar with what I'm looking at right here.
Okay, so you kind of know that. Yeah, the input access. Like, yeah, so that is already baked into the game or the engine itself, so you don't have to do the heavy lifting. But if you want, for example, make a character shoot, then I've been trying, like, wading through waves of tutorial videos on how to make a character shoot. There are a million ways to roam in that regard. Like, you can have the bullet come out of the character directly, or you can spawn a weapon on top of it, and if you press a button, then it shoots something. In this case, if you press F, and you can only do it once, if you press F, it runs this sequence of code where it places a gun on the character. Let's see, yeah, there's a socket name. Like, I want the weapon to be in this socket that I have to make manually, and that's what I did. So whenever I press F, boom, weapons are on the character itself, and then I had to figure out how to make him shoot. And yeah, like I said before, there are a million ways to make something work. And the thing is, if you're following along with a tutorial video on how to make a character shoot or make a jump or whatever, then you're gonna get bored very quickly. What I do is, like, I watch the whole thing first and then decide whether or not I want to follow along with this tutorial video. Because every tutorial video is different. Like, it's some Swedish guy or Italian or whatever, someone wouldn't.
They always seem to be some form of European, huh?
Yes, it's kind of wild. Like you would think that there's a lot of American tutorial or English speaking or native English speaking tutorial videos, but surprisingly, a lot of people just want to make a video game, and if they want to make something work and they can't find it, they're gonna make the tutorial videos themselves. So this guy made a tutorial about how to make a suit in a very specific way exactly that I was looking for, and I saved that video and I thanked this guy my life in a way. It's yeah, I don't know. I guess when it comes to coding, you just fuck around and find out. In my mind, I always thought that you need the perfect code to make something work, but in some cases, it is the same thing with the coconut. Like, you don't know how it works, only that it works. If you want to do it efficiently, you can mess with it later. But for now, it works, it doesn't fall apart, and I don't worry about it. It's, yeah, if you don't know how to program, you can, like, literally fuck around and find out what I did. I am not a programmer by any means, but I kind of get the gist of it by watching hours and hours of tutorial videos on how other people do it, and it's deceptively easier than I thought it would be. It's yeah, if you want to program your own movement system, for example in Game Maker, um, I thought it was going to be very difficult because the most common issue that you have with 2D games is you have all right, let's take this for example. You move forward, that is let's say a speed of 10, and if you move backward, that is the speed of 10. You move sideways, that's also a speed of 10. But if you move diagonally, or wait, how do you say that? Diagonally? Yeah,
Diagonally, yep.
diagonally. If you do that, then you're faster because it kind of counts the speeds on top of each other, so you can go faster if you go diagonally. I can't pronounce it at all, but you know what I mean. But yeah, luckily in Unreal Engine you don't have to worry about that stuff. But it's, I don't know, it seems daunting at first, but if you mess around with it for long enough, you kind of understand how it sort of works, like how it functions in a way. Sometimes it's just a series of if statements, and sometimes it's um stuff like enumerations or whatever, or booleans. You know what booleans are?
Not off the top of my head.
That's easy. Booleans are if statements. Like oh, this is a good example. You press space bar and then checks whether or not you pressed. Actually, this is a terrible example. Let me pull up a different weapons. Heavy machine gun. Perfect. All right. So, all right. This gun you can also give it to enemies, and it runs a different code, and it spawns a different bullet because you don't want to get hit with bullets that doesn't hurt you. Um, this thing checks the boolean of if it's blocking a hit or not, and then if it's hit, it doesn't do anything. It runs this piece of code that goes to nowhere. If it does something, then it runs this piece of code that does something. If that makes any sense to you?
I'm following.
Okay. It's, yeah, I'm actually pretty proud of how far I've come. Like when I first started, I was overwhelmed with the amount of stuff happening on the screen. But after just messing around with it, it's just similar to how I learned to use Photoshop as well. Like at first I didn't know any. No, actually, better example. Like I played with Photoshop since like a couple of decades ago, I want to say. But 3D modeling is something very alien back in the day for me. But after messing around with it for a while, I kind of know how to make a cell phone, for example. Like a classic Nokia cell phone is basically a brick, and then you put a dent in it and call it a screen, and then it looks and feels like a cell phone. So yeah, it's actually with any other programs that you use. What do you use to make videos, if I may ask? Or is it like a
I
trade
use
secret?
so for my base editing, I use Lightworks, and then for extra stuff, I use After Effects.
Okay, so how did you learn to use these programs?
Lightworks is ridiculously user friendly. It didn't take me any time at all to learn it. And After Effects, I just followed tutorials. And again, After Effects was extremely user friendly. I took to After Effects to like fucking like a fish to water.
There you go. And that's actually
Which is actually, and I know this is shitty. That's why I have so many problems with like Unreal, because I haven't taken to it as well as I've taken to like anything else.
hmm, fair enough. Like a lot of people drop off with Unreal. The reason why I stuck with Unreal is because um back before I was serious with game development, I keep jumping from like game engine to game engine. Oh, I wanted to make something simple. I started with Game Maker. Actually, what if I want to make 3D games? All right, and then I hopped over to Unity. This coding stuff is too hard. I'm gonna switch over to Unreal, with the Unreal blueprinting. Oh, you know what? Maybe it's too much. Let's go back to. Oh, jeez! I got right from Rexus. Hang on. Let me shout them out before I trail off again. Yeah. To finish my train of thought. Yeah. I decided to just stuck with Unreal Engine, and I'm starting to feel more comfortable with it over time. And I followed the tutorials. I kind of get the gist of it, and now, yeah, now I am on the road of actually making something like easy, simple, and understandable. Also, thank you for the right there, Rexes. I'm gonna nuke everyone from over there. Ow! Alright, that's it. I'm gonna bring in the nuke. There you go. Well, this is... I'm gonna go back to Photoshop. Wait, hang on, let me switch screens. Welcome. Thank you for the raid. How's it going, Rexus? Yeah. Hold on, are you still there?
Yep, I'm still here.
Okay, sorry. um, but yeah, I decided to stuck with Unreal Engine because otherwise I'll just switch back to Game Maker or Unity, and otherwise it just never gets anything done. And it is difficult to follow along with tutorials, but yeah, just stick with it for a while, and then you can kind of get the gist of like game development in general. Yeah, I'm gonna take a sip. So, are you? Oh, hang on. Let me switch the screen.
I'm
off.
just doing a big. I'm doing a big think now.
Oh no, that's all right. Hey, tell Hauntless that the vault they raided first has been cleared. I have no idea. Wait, what were you playing? I shouted you out.
Oh, you guys continued the campaign. That's really nice. I'm glad to hear that.
Oh, Rimroll. All right, all right. Never played a game before, but nice.
I'm glad to hear that. It's funny. I actually wanted to start DMing a campaign for myself because, like I said, I had like 99% given up on game dev. But I'm like, I still want to tell these stories. These are still stories I want to tell. And I was like, let's do D&D campaign. I couldn't get anybody to fucking want to do it except for like 2 people. I was like, great, great. I'm glad.
Everyone likes a campaign.
And then I decided that I'm gonna work, uh, very very full time, double full time over the summer. So I'm not gonna have time at all to do it anyways.
Hmm. I
So
see.
just suck. Everything suck. Bad. Make game hard. Sucks. Poop.
Yeah, there goes a lot into how
I
to.
just want to make a little guy on the screen hit another little guy on the screen. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that sounds easy enough. But yeah.
But you say that's what drives me nuts. That's what drives me nuts.
Oh,
People always say, "Oh, it's so easy. You just gotta do it." And I'm like, I've been trying so hard for like years, and every time I boot up fucking Unreal and I look at it, I'm just like my fucking head hurts. Maybe I'm you know what it is?
Well,
I might be stupid.
possibly.
It's entirely possible that me saying that I don't want to do it is fucking cope.
Hmm.
And in reality, I might just be stupid. Am I allowed? Am I allowed to be stupid? I need your permission.
Oh, hang on, I got flashbang up. Yes, it is allowed to be stupid because sometimes you don't. Smart people overthink things. Stupid people just go with the flow, and I can actually respect that. Also, flashbang. Be fast. Yeah, sorry about that.
I guess the question is, how many times do I try to learn Unreal before I actually just like accept that I'm not good at this and that I should I should do something else?
Hmm. Say you
Like, be
have.
real. Don't give me the same answer
No, no, I'm
don't give me
trying.
the same answer everybody else gives me, where they're like, no, you just got to keep trying.
Yeah, this is not just um. There's something going on with like people picking something up and not being able to do it, and I think I feel the same way when I started with Unreal Engine. Like I booted up a clean project, but then I don't know where to start. And I guess the best advice that I can give you, not just to stick with it, but walk around and find out. Like see if you can make something happen on the screen. Like familiarize with the engine. But yeah, if it's really not your thing, I don't know, man. Like I'm trying to be supportive of other people's game dev adventures, but it's not an easy road to take, if I'm being honest. Like I had to struggle a lot with just getting into game dev in the first place. It's but it is rewarding if you can make something work. Like if you see the little guy on the screen move around and do stuff that you wanted it to do, it is immensely rewarding to see it happen. Like yeah, that's my little boy. He's starting to walk and best other people in the head with the little stick that I gave him. I guess it's a more creative thing that satisfies.
I
Oh,
I will try. I
never
will
give up.
for you I will try one more time.
But there is no shame in bailing out. There is no shame. Remember that.
I appreciate you saying that.
Mm,
That's I feel better hearing that, actually, like completely unironically.
yes. There's you only set the bar that you set for yourself. Like, if you can't meet that, then maybe you should scope it down. Like that's what I did. Like I was incredibly disappointed when I didn't meet the deadline that I set up for myself. And that's when I realized maybe this game idea that I've got going is a little bit too big for one man. Oh, you want to know what the big game idea that I was working on last
What
year?
was it?
It is a 3D humanity like. On paper, it sounds easy enough because, well, have you ever heard of the game Humanity?
Yes.
Alright, so you know what the game is about. Alright,
I know about Yumeniki.
fair enough. So,
Is that game actually about something?
no, you just. Alright, the main gameplay of Humanity is you go to different rooms and you collect effects. If you collect them all, then you unlock a door that makes you beat the game. And people are going nuts about it because it's one of the most well-known RPG Maker games that exist today. And still exist today, rather. And there's a lot of Humanity spin-offs and fan games, there's even like a 3D version of the game, but it's not as good as the original one.
That's what I've heard.
Yes, I've seen it, and I can see why people are saying it. And I look at it and think to myself, I can make a better one, better 3D human Nikki, because I can kind of understand what the game is about and what you do. You just make an empty room and then start filling it with NPCs that chases you or whatever. But the problem is, I don't have the experience. Like I know how the Unreal Engine works, kinda, and I've actually managed to build a effects system where you can collect effects and then apply changes to the character, like swap character models. Like in the Humanity, you can turn into a capitated hat or a traffic light person thing, and I can make that, but I don't have a lot of experience with making quick 3D models or animations or whatever in Unreal Engine, so I get kind of stuck with it. Like I get stuck, and when I didn't meet the deadline, I realized, yeah, I probably should scope it down a little bit. Like use the things that I already know, that I'm already familiar with. Um, I also switched over to Blender from Maya or 3ds Maya because Maya as a 3D software is the industry standard. It's not necessarily a good art or 3D modeling program because you need a license to use it, and if that expires, you get a new one or have to get a new one somehow. So, but then there's this new 3D modeling program that isn't the industry standard, but is very powerful, very versatile, absolutely free, and you can edit videos with it for some reason. So why not use that one instead? But then I run into a different problem. It uses a different workflow, so I had to relearn how to make 3D models from scratch. In 3ds Maya, I was pretty much a king of unwrapping um, character models and make UV maps with it. If that doesn't mean anything to you, it's basically um, how do I explain this? All right, let me visualize this instead. Imagine a dice. Yeah, and it has one, two, uh, how many this is? I don't know. If you want to unfold this like as a cardboard thingy, and then it kind of looks like a cross, and that is a UV map because that is where all the texture stuff is going to be at. One, there's a two, and there's whatever thing I made in here. If you fold this into a 3D model, then it looks like this, but not exactly, but kinda. That makes sense.
I get it.
Yeah, and that's what I'm pretty good at in 3ds Maya. But I use like a tons of plugins, and uh, it uses a student license, and when that expires, I couldn't get a new one, or I don't even want to pirate a new one because it's such a hassle and a headache to do all of that stuff. But that is why my philosophy with using programs or any kind of programs really is to use few plugins as possible. Like if you can make something with the default setting, then I wouldn't have to worry about installing every plugin that I've ever used or gotten used to in the years. It's it's much easier that way, and it saves me a lot of headaches. There you go. I need to. Is it alright if I take a pee break real fast? Like I need to
Go
pee.
for it.
Okay. Can you
You've
entertain?
loaded my brain up with things to think about.
Uh, no problem. I gotta pee. Be right back. Entertain chat for a while.
Yeah, go pee. You know, it's hard. It's hard to decide what you want to dedicate your time to, especially when you've tried and failed a few times already. And you're like, man, if I try and fail again, I might just about poop in my pants and I might do something drastic. I might fucking eat my own head. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna fucking eat my own head. Here it comes. But you know what I mean. It's it's hard to decide what exactly you want because I know I've always wanted to make a game. I've always wanted to make game ever since I was a young lad. What has Butler tried that he refuses to do again? Butler's fucking good at everything the first time. Butler has seen stage 4 in Sinistar. I'm mad. I'm mad that like he's just like, oh, I'm just gonna do this, and then he does it. It's in the fucking Donkey Kong kill screen. Fuck Butler. Yeah, I'm jealous of Butler too. But I'm being serious though. I'm being serious though. It's like it's I know what I want, but I don't know. I don't know how to manifest that, and B, I don't know if I'm good enough to manifest that without reaching out to other people to get help. or just using the power of money to get them to manifest it for me. You know what I mean? Because I mean, how many times can a man try and fail before he's like, "Fuck, maybe I should do something different"? You know what's really hard? Um, being surrounded by such talented people all the time. That's hard. Because earlier we were talking about being able to like be able to tangibly see when like be able to tangibly see the fruits of your labor. When you're the ideas guy, you can't really. Like I enjoy video editing a lot because it's a thing I can do. It's a thing I consider myself to be pretty good at. Unfortunately, because I've been so busy, I haven't been able to pop into After Effects and work on my motion graphics very much recently, which that fucking sucks. I really do enjoy that. But like, I don't know. One of my issues with like Unreal is when I popped into After Effects to start learning motion graphics, I was good at that like within a couple of days. I wasn't amazing, but I was good enough to be able to do things on my own without needing any outside help. And I have this imposter syndrome where I'm like, well, I could do this fairly easily, which means it must not have been very hard, like to begin with. Because I don't have that experience with Unreal or with game dev in general. Every time I pop into Unreal, I'm like, I don't fucking know. I have no idea what I'm doing.
Oh, hello?
What up?
Wait, I heard you're talking shit.
Oh, I'm talking shit about myself right now. I'm having a self-doubt pity party.
Oh no. What are
A
you
fucking
doubting?
pee party.
Pity party. What's the matter?
Oh, I'm just unconfident.
That's the opposite of confidence. Oh.
That's right. You're correct.
Yeah, jeez.
A little tear. A little tear. Hauntwitch thinking about game dev.
Wait, I gotta
Sad boy.
No.
Sad little man. Sad little scrunko.
nut. Can I? Oh god, I'm sorry. There you go. This is great. Hydrate the gym. I just got back from peeing, and now I gotta refill my tank. Apparently. Give me a sec. Thank you for the reading. By the way.
Alright. Hauntwitch thinking about game dev. Sag.
It is said that the first 5% of game development is fun, everything else is sucks, and then the last 5% is fun again.
The first 5% is fun.
Yes.
This is the fun part?
Yes, and then everything else just sucks because you just.
Oh no.
But the reward is rewarding. Really gotta turn off that Windows notification sound. There we go. No more tears. Oh, I got hugged. Which button was the hug again? Oh no, that's the big button. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I'm healed. Thank you. I let my cat into the room and it's now playing with my equipment. Hopefully it doesn't touch the
Oh,
gun.
I hate that.
Where it touches your stuff.
Yeah, don't touch my shit, you little bastard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta move my back.
Go on, get.
Go on, get.
Go on, get.
I prepared a little blanket on top of him so he can like sit on it and just mope. But
Aw.
oh, there you go. He jumped up my bed.
It's hard being so passionate about fucking game dev, and then every time I get super excited about it, I'm like, here I go. I'm gonna do it this time. I'm gonna hop into Unreal and I'm gonna really figure it out this time. And then like 2 weeks later, be like, fuck this, fuck it. I just can't.
It's a natural reaction.
I've literally done that every 6 months for the last 3 or 4 years.
Oh, it is a difficult how to call it? A difficult field to get into.
It is, and I may just skip to the end of the upcoming 2 week departure.
Archer.
Yeah, departure from usual content.
Oh, right.
Because that's what happens. I take 2 weeks not working on any Hauntlich content so I can try to learn Unreal stuff, and then I end up with nothing to show for it, and no content having been made.
Yeah, it is a time investment that may or may not pay back in some form of content or stuff that you can show off.
I've talked myself out of it.
Nice. Well, that's a start.
Give up on chat. Give up on your dreams. Sometimes not everything is for you.
Oh God. Have you seen or the My Little Pony post about it's never too late to give up?
I've never seen that, but I agree. It's never too late to give up.
Actually, they should have said there's no shame in bailing out, but they literally said it like it's never too late to give up, and it's about the episode where the granny character wanted to do the jump that she couldn't do in her younger days, and then the episode ends with her not jumping or doing the thing that she wanted to do in the younger days. And they made a tweet or post or whatever that says it's never too late to give up.
But that's crazy. Is that really like an episode of that show?
That's what I remember. Like it's like I've watched.
Crazy.
I don't know. Some weird stuff happens in that show apparently, but
I guess I just like a show for kids. Having a show for kids end with like, oh, I guess you just fucking can't. I guess that's a real message.
I guess you fucking can't.
I guess you can't.
Well, still...
Not everybody can. I mean, that's. Excuse me, one sec.
Oh, you're excused.
Almost choked on my own tongue.
Ooh. Oh,
here's the thing. I talk about like now I'm gonna learn Unreal again, but at the same time, I've always been the guy who tells other people that like at the end of the day, if you want to do something, but not everybody has the skill to do everything they want. Not everybody has the talent and the skill to do everything they want to do. So if you still want to be involved in that industry, you have to find another way in. Like if I wanted to make comic books, I can't draw.
I tried. It sucks. You have to draw every panel yourself.
Right.
And that's why they cut corners. Like sometimes you have panels where it's just two characters and a blank background. Sometimes it's just silhouettes instead of like a highly detailed character. So there are workarounds.
But like, I mean, like when it comes to draw, I can barely draw Hauntlich.
Oh yeah, me neither. Like right now, you're just an oval-shaped head, and I tried to envision you from the front. It's difficult, man.
It's from the front and from slightly below. It looks right. Hey, does that look right?
Oh God, he's bringing in the pro.
I'm bringing in the original designer. Does that look right?
Hello.
Does it look right? You've received original designer approval. It does look right.
Oh, thank God. All right, that's all I needed to hear. I'm not gonna mess around with this any further. There we go. It's perfect. Like I don't want to make any more changes than this.
Good, because she did give her seal of approval.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you have a seal of approval of someone, or like it also works in a team. Like if you ask someone for like feedback or like, hey, what do you think of this cool thing? And they say it sucks or it's good or whatever, then change it. If it's good, don't fix if it ain't broken. Like it's
right. If you get your thumbs up, move on.
Yes, and then you can finally move on to the thing that's on the chopping block. Okay.
One day I'll be able to use the immense clout from being an internet e-celebrity into getting someone to make a game with me. But until then,
All in due time.
I will continue the path I've laid for myself instead of getting distracted with side things.
Oh, that also happens with me. I get distracted with a lot of other stuff as well.
Because I got fucking videos I've been saying I'm gonna make, and it's been a long time since the last Hauntledge video came out.
Oh, look at this. Kind of black and white. I might have to give it a little bit of color if I can.
I do like the grayscale thing you do with your shading. Do you ever color?
As a matter of actually, yeah, we can like switch over to there it is. Yeah, the strongest being in. I forgot why I put that in there, but yes. Oh,
That's right. I remember this one.
yeah, you remember. I'm glad that you remember.
I like the robe. I like the robe on this one. It's cool.
Oh, actually, I probably should add that detail in there as well. Like,
I love the fucking tag on the robe is bunny.
yeah, it makes sense. Like she designed the whole thing, so it would make sense.
Yeah, she designed Hauntledge. She's so smart.
Yeah. Um, I tried to capture the shape of the skull perfectly. Like, I have this weird ability to copy other people's style, and it's fallen for my deception.
Well, it's interesting because Hauntledge doesn't really. I got Bunny yells at me because I'm like, hey, can you make me a Hauntledge PNG in like your real style? She's like, the fuck you talking about?
In a real
And I'm
style.
like, because I don't feel like Hauntledge looks like anything else she draws. And I'm like, I want Hauntledge that looks like cool lobotomy bunny art. And she's like, the fuck are you talking about? He is.
Let's
And I'm
see.
like, yeah, but you know what I mean. And she's like, I don't know what you mean.
I'm gonna
I'm like, I
search.
don't know how to explain it. Yeah, do it. I need a non-pixel art. Maybe? I don't know.
Non-pick.
You know what
Yeah.
the issue is? Do you know what the issue is?
What's that?
I feel like so have you ever seen somebody who got a commission from an artist like and then 5 years later they're like your art's way better now. How dare you not have been as good at art when you did my commission?
What? What? That is
Have you ever seen that?
No, this is the first time
Okay,
I've heard of this concept before. What the?
apparently that is a thing that happens. And I sometimes I feel like I experience that because I've seen Lobotomy Bunny's art since she's made Hauntledge, and like her pixel art is so fucking good
Yeah.
these days. Like her pixel art fucking slaps, and I'm like, I can't even like imagine what like a better Hauntledge sprite from Lobotomy Bunny would look like. But I'm like, do it, do a
But
Haunt's pixel art has aged well in your opinion? I think it has too. But I'm like, I don't know. I'm greedy. I'm fucking greedy for it. I'm like, do a art. Do it now. I don't know what I want. Just do it.
I don't know what I want, but I want it now.
I don't know what I want, but do it.
I'm trying to find some examples of colored art that I've did, but that's all that I have. That's all.
That's all right.
Like I'm just familiar with like black and white stuff.
Well, it looks good.
Yeah, because I've stuck to it and I've gotten proficient with making more black and white stuff. I have a couple in the making, but I don't want to show them off just yet because it's kind of a surprise for everyone involved. So, but yeah, there's some stuff that I'm making at the moment.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
But
Oh, what?
I also like that it's very I like your distinct style. It's also why I like Bunny's art. That's why I like your art. I like who is it? I can't think of the other one. But when I see your art posted before even seeing who's posting it, I'm like, that's fucking a Genome original.
You can tell by the brushwork or the fingerprint essentially. Like there's something.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm trying to hide those fingerprints if I'm doing um other people's art style, but I just can't. Like it's ingrained in my way of how I do art, and it's kind of like a um ballistic markings from a gun. Like every gun has its own ballistic markings, and you can tell where the bullet came from, or at least that's what I've been told. And it's kind of the same with art styles. It's just a fingerprint that I leave on my art. Maybe I can find something else. Oh, this one is actually
I
kind of.
think if somebody wants art from you, they want that fingerprint. Otherwise, they wouldn't hire you, or they
That
wouldn't ask for art from you.
yes, that reminds me of the who was that guy that claimed that echidnas were his
Ah,
own?
you're referring to my video on Ken Penders.
Ken Penders, the man, the myth, and the legend. Yes, I've.
Exactly. If no, yeah, and that's what I said in my video. If I wanted a commission from Ken Penders and he traced something and it didn't look like, well, first of all, if he traced it all, I'd be pissed. But if he drew something that didn't look like his art, I'd be like, the fuck, I paid for Ken Penders' commission, not a whatever this is.
Not for a photocopy of someone else's art.
It's like it's like going to a nice pizza place and they give you a fucking Domino's pizza and it's like, yeah, I get it's still pizza, but it's not what I fucking asked for.
I want the pizzas that you make, not the one that I can order at the place that
Yeah,
I could have ordered.
exactly. I want the pizza that you make,
Yes.
dick.
If you're gonna ask me to draw hauntlets, then I'm gonna draw hauntlets in my way that I'm familiar with, but also trying
Right.
to stick with what makes hauntlets hauntlets, if that makes
Oh,
sense.
you know what's cute though? You know what's cute though that I've seen?
Bunny ears?
No, but weird. I was about to talk about Bunny again. Some people in her audience, and I
Uh-huh.
know I can talk about this because her audience is not going to leak into here. I mean, I don't know, maybe. Hold
You are
on. Let me
safe
look at
here.
the. I'm looking at the fucking viewer list.
No, that's fine.
There's Charlie Drex, whoever that is. I see him in Bunny's chat a lot.
Yeah, I like Charlie. Everyone likes
Charlie
Charlie.
Drex. I don't know if the fuck that is.
He's the
I
guy.
bet he sounds like an idiot though.
No, no, he's
Sounds like a stupid, ugly asshole.
I am not affiliated with this skeleton. I
But Bunny's viewers, some of them are very, very young,
Mhm.
and uh, they've started drawing their own like doll, like ball jointed doll OCs. In it looks like her art style. It looks like they're trying to mimic her art style,
Oh, that is
and I'm
cute.
like, that's fucking rad. That's
Yeah.
because like fucking Joan, like, okay, you got somebody like Jonan Vasquez,
Oh, yeah, I know the
uh
guy. Invader Sim,
Invader Zim, right?
Johnny
Where
Hollis
fucking
Holomaniac.
people base their whole art styles off of learning how to draw like Jonan Vasquez because his art style was so inspiring to people. Because it was
Yes.
cool, it was neat.
Yes, I remember. Like, I seen it all happen in real time.
Yeah.
I was there when it was written. Or drawn,
So
actually.
so if people are doing that with your art style, I think that's fucking that sounds so cool to
Like,
have happen.
I've never even considered that as a... Like, I think I can... If people are starting doing that with my art style, then I can say, yeah, I've made it as an artist.
That's how you know you've made it, right? When you start seeing other people draw like you just because they like your style so much.
But the thing is, I don't know what makes my style my style. Like, if you show me like a piece of art that I've made years ago, I might instantly recognize it just for the fact that it has my fingerprint on it. But
Right.
I don't know what it is exactly what makes my art style.
How long have you been drawing, Nox?
I've been drawing for at least... Actually, let me think about that. For at least...
Like not just like casually doodling, but like actually drawing.
Oh, there's a sad story behind it, actually. But yeah, I've been drawing for at least 15 years, I want to say. Give or take.
Okay.
So, yeah. I started with stick figures, and then one day I saw girls draw Sonic OCs and Lolita outfits. And the outfits looked very detailed and cool and everything at the time. I still think they look cool today. That's when I started. All right, she's basically the same age as me, but she already draws amazing stuff. I want to do that. I want to make amazing stuff. So I started a little bit more seriously with art. Oh, am I going on for too long?
No, I'm listening.
Okay, okay. Art to wrap it up. So yeah, I started with stick figures, and now I make my magnum opus, which is Hauntless staring down at a silhouette of me.
Well, I can tell you with 100% certainty that this is a wonderful improvement from stick figures.
I still like stick figures. It's like coming home, you know? Like that's where I started with stick figures doing karate or whatever.
Dude, stick figures doing karate is literally like a whole fucking genre on YouTube. Don't ever shit on don't ever let anybody shit on YouTubers not YouTubers. Stick figures doing karate.
I would fight them using karate if they shit on
Exactly.
it.
Using stick figure karate.
I'm not much for conflict, but I will defend stick figures doing karate or kung fu or wushu or any.
Yeah, whatever. Just like those stick figures fighting cartoons on old YouTube have better choreography than like modern Hollywood.
I think even some of them inspired Monty the guy behind Ruby or
Really?
RWBY. I think so. I'm not entirely sure, but I wouldn't surprise if that
See,
was
I
the
love
case.
hearing that shit. I want that to be the case, so I'm gonna believe you.
I'll leave it as a theory, a genome theory.
Wow.
Well, actually, have you ever seen the classic film of Super Mario Bros. Z or Z?
Yes, I have seen Super Mario Bros. Z. Super
It's,
Mario Bros. Z is stupid. Why does that have such good fight choreography? What
it's
the
amazing.
hell?
My absolute favorite is, of course, the the what's it called, the tri battle like between the Koopa brothers and the
Yeah,
Super.
there's one really famous one that he did that just like is like the apex of like his animation abilities, and it's
It's
blows
amazing.
my fucking balls off.
Oh, those were the days. People today don't that miss that. They don't understand what we've missed, what we've witnessed. But we didn't see it. We witnessed something, and it was beautiful. Um, that series, Super Mario Bros. Z or Z, I don't know. Like that inspired Monty Like I've read somewhere, but I'm not sure if it's actually true or not. Like I remember something along the lines of that, and I believe it. Like I've seen the choreography of that. It's completely plausible.
Okay, so there's an SFM animator named
Uh,
Sino Zero. Have you ever heard of him?
Sadly not by name, but maybe if I see some stuff of him.
Okay, you might recognize it. So we're gonna take a little detour right now. Okay,
Sure, like take a break from game dev, but because it's still a creative endeavor.
we are still talking about creative endeavors because this actually goes
Oh,
into something else I'm talking about. Okay, so don't
Boot
don't worry
disengage.
about the timestamp.
I've seen it. I've seen it. I know what it is. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Okay, yeah. Show this on stream. Skip to like 3 minutes and 45 seconds.
How the hell do I show this on stream? Like, oh no, it's showing commercial. Oh, God damn it. Block it. All right, it blocked it. How do I share this on stream? I've never done this before, so bear with me.
No problem.
Is it display capture? Sure, let's try this. Let's call it display capture. Let's go to. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do display capture. Did I show something bad?
I don't know. I wasn't looking.
Okay. Let's pretend no one saw that.
Yeah, Poo disengage. People know about Poo disengage. Okay.
Hell yeah! Hell yeah! Hell yeah! God damn it. Game capture? No, no, no. Browser application? No. Sorry, guys. Window capture maybe.
If
What?
you can't do it, don't worry about it. I didn't think
Oh,
I
wait,
have on my OBS like a quick look at YouTube thing.
oh wow, it works. Look at that. Like I was kind of worried
Neat.
about.
Okay, yeah, go like 3 minutes and 45 seconds in.
Give me a sec.
Cuz we're going to watch a little bit of this, and I just want to comment on how just like
Oh,
Yeah, right around here. Because
Oh,
like it is genuinely absurd to me that like fight scenes fight scenes that are this interesting just don't happen in movies.
that's a shame.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, they don't make fight scenes this interesting in normal media. Yet there are people online who are like, look. Here's the thing. Yeah, I get it. He didn't make the models. He didn't like make the set pieces and whatnot.
That's
But he
fair.
still animated and choreographed these sequences, and they're amazing, and they're interesting. The black borders are so fucking stylish.
Yes, because there's an actual object in the scene, but it looks
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's
And like
what?
it's goofy and like it's clowny, but it's also like it's so engaging and visually interesting. Like this fucking is so good.
It looks look, he's using the bars as an attack. Like, oh, that's amazing.
Fucking yeah, no, he's like throwing the black bars at him, and it's I can't get over it because people are so fucking talented, and I'm very frequently like so fucking jealous
All right,
because
some
I'm
of
like I just because I know nobody's looking at anything I'm making and get losing their fucking mind over it like this.
hang on, let me make this larger. Like he's
The fucking
throwing him into space.
And that's what I want. That's all I want. I don't want the money. I don't want fame. I don't want fucking you can keep all that shit. I don't want it. I just want
Cool
to
shit.
live in a world where two dudes are just sitting around losing their goddamn minds over how good something is. And I want it to be the thing I made. That's all I want in this life.
Oh, that's a goal to strive for. I feel the same way about like a lot of stuff that I see, and also a lot of stuff that I make myself. I People say some of my stuff are good, but to me, I want to do better. I want to make something that has an impact, a lasting impact on people.
Right?
Yeah, that's just, I want to inspire people to make other cool shit. I want them to surpass me in some ways. I want to see how they would done what I did. I'm kind of engaged with this whole uh, the thing that is playing right now. Like I don't want to click away from it.
No, it's fine. We've seen the sequence I wanted to see.
Okay.
We saw the important part that I wanted to talk about. I mean, the whole video is worth watching, but watch it on your own time.
Yes,
But the like that beginning of the fight sequence was the part that I was just like, I lose my fucking mind when I see that. It's so good.
it's so good. The thing is, they use moves from other medias, and I think some of the moves are even from Guilty Gear. I think.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong. Absolutely not. And but it's interesting that they use the little things of what inspires them to make this thing that inspires us.
Right. It's a chain of inspiration, and I want to continue the chain. That's all I want.
I will not be the weakest link.
Exactly. Eggs fucking exactly.
Amen. I don't think we can
All
do.
right.
Oh yes.
I want to keep talking, but it's getting to be about 6 o'clock here, and I gotta like people are gonna starve to death if I don't go feed them.
Oh yeah. You know what? I think this is a good point to stop. And look how
This
far I've
image
come.
is cool as shit.
I'm gonna leave it as it is. I can even put like vote hauntless or something with a little bow on top. But for now, I'm gonna.
Can you
Oh
can
yes.
you post this to my fan art Twitter?
Oh, of course. I'll even tag it with your art. Actually, let me put some finishing touches.
Stick nasty.
Hauntless. Do you have any closing thoughts on this whole game dev stream that we've
I
done?
do. If you are interested in game dev, don't let my inability to code stop you. There are so many ways to get into it,
Yes,
but it is hard.
it is hard. I've been there. I've done it, and I want to keep doing it because I know it's rewarding, and I know with the experience that I've learned along the way that I can do it. Just you gotta hang in there. Like remember what the
Yeah,
guy in
never
the
give up.
never give up.
Never give up. Don't be
Exactly.
like me. Because here's the thing, I haven't given up. I understand that I need to take alternate routes.
Hmm.
But I do know there are people out there who have straight up given up. Don't ever fucking give up.
There are ways.
There are ways to get in there.
Oh,
And if you find that none of the ways appeal to you, it's okay to say that maybe you were wrong about what you wanted to do.
yeah. Like, some people told me to, like, actually no one has told me to give up. Like, the only one that told me to give up is myself, but at the same time I'm also thinking this is possible. Like, I know that I can do it. Like, I just have to hang in there, but not just bash my head against the wall over and over again. You gotta play it smart. Like, you gotta yeah, you just there are ways to achieve what you want to achieve, but you gotta be smart about it. Like, if one thing doesn't work, then try the other. And if it does work, then see if you can do something about it. That makes
Right,
sense.
exactly.
Yeah.
Inspirational comment. I'm out of here.
All right. Sorry for keeping you here.
Don't worry about it. This was fun. We'll talk more.
Hell yeah. With that, I'm gonna rate into. Actually, who else can we rate? Do you have a suggestion?
Do I have a suggestion?
Yeah.
I have.
You're the guest of honor, so why not?
Oh, I'm the guest of honor. Okay. I have a VTuber who I absolutely love. Let me link her. Let me link her. She's fucking great. I love her.
Is it Lobotomy Bunny?
It is not. It's actually one of Lobotomy Bunny's friends.
Okay, that's also good.
I linked it in the chat. Hold on. I meant
Wait.
to link it in the Discord. There we go. Now I've done both.
Sure. Let me copy the link and paste it in the thing that. Oh. Okay, there we go. Someone by the name of B Does Bumble.
B does Bumble. She is wonderful.
I haven't followed her yet, but I am going to rate into her. Let me make sure that I've spelled the name correctly. Go.
We always support the friendos.
Yes. Friend in need is a friend indeed. Alright, I'm gonna start to rate. You can hang up after I sign off if you want.
I'm gonna stick around for the raid, and then I'm gonna get out of here. I'm probably gonna hop out of the Discord voice chat, so I can cough and fart and all those things.
Ugh. All right. Thanks for that. So, all right. I'm gonna mute myself for a bit and then type in a chat. So, at least I get some like audio in there. Right. Without further ado, thank you everyone for joining in. I am Auxilia Genome, and this was what's your name again?
Oh, I'm Hauntman McLitch.
Hauntlich McMahon, and you can follow him over at
Lichman.
You can follow him over at twitch.tv/Hauntlich. Yeah, go check him out. I'm gonna end the stream, and then until next time, bye bye.